Oops. Hey guys, I had just gotten over the horror of the demonic possession, and then Candace had to go and play a clip tonight of Erika Kirk going to Glenn Beck. And then we prayed and we thanked the Lord for our marriage. You know what we do, Glenn. You know how we do it, Glenn. Guys, welcome in, welcome in. We got a banger tonight. Holy mackerel. There are so many things to cover tonight. It's going to be bananas. I got to start this way because it's pulled up on my screen because I was watching it. Have you guys ever noticed Coach is just jacked? I mean, just absolutely out of his mind on roids. I had no idea. I was watching this video, and every time they do a clip of him, he just gets more and more shredded. So, wow. Coach, I got a lot of catching up to do. I was pumping iron today, but I don't look like that. Welcome, jury. Welcome, members of the jury. We got a lot to cover tonight. The opening statement's going to be a little shorter than normal. Going to be just a little shorter than normal. Oh, I forgot. I brought in a tasty soda. This is not a sponsored segment. I just decided to do something different tonight. Instead of water, I'm going with a hum soda in my fancy mason jar. Don't spill over. Don't spill over. Okay, good. All right. Here's what we got on tap tonight. You remember when we talked about someone who may or may not have been sheep dipped in order to provide an intelligence cover? Well, if you liked that show, you're going to love tonight. It's going to be totally bonkers. This deep dive we're doing into the Erika Frantzve family, into the Lori Frantzve version tonight. There's an Erika component to it. Cheers, guys. These are not real sodas. Don't think I'm betraying my low-carb ways. This is a hum soda. It's probiotic kombucha. Again, not a product placement, just a delicious, tasty beverage. We're gonna get pretty deep tonight. So I hope you have a 5-point safety harness because you will fall off the edge of your seat. This is one of those nights where you will fall off the edge of your seat. If you're not cautious, if you're not careful, it could get ugly. So I don't want that to happen to anybody. I love you people. And we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it together. Hold on, I cannot get this font bigger. There we go. I have to get my my opening statement just a little larger so I can actually see it when I move screens. Here we go, guys. I have a shorter opening statement. You know, sometimes they run 15, 20, 25 minutes long. Not tonight. No, not tonight. This one is clocking in well under 1,000 words, and there's a reason. I had it long like I normally do, and I thought, how are we going to cover everything if I do a 25, 30-minute opening or 20-minute opening even? So I had to bring it down a little bit. So here we go. I got to jump right into it. There's so many links tonight, so many different stories, and it's going to take me a little while to walk through all of it. So I hope you are somewhere firm. If you're driving an automobile, be safe because we're about to light the world on fire tonight. I got bad news for everybody involved. I got bad news. It's going to get ugly. Here's your opening statement. The country of Romania is a southeastern European nation with a population of about 19 million people. It's bordered by Ukraine, Moldova, Bulgaria, Serbia, Hungary, the Balkans. We're huge in the Balkans. You people should know this. It's also bounded by the vitally important Black Sea. Its capital, Bucharest, it's a vibrant cultural and economic hub. The terrain features the Carpathian Mountains, the Danube Delta, and it has fertile plains that support agriculture, industry, and tourism. The economy relies on manufacturing, IT, and energy. It has a decent GDP for its size. Historically, Romania's roots trace back to the ancient Dacians, who were conquered by the Romans in 106 AD under Emperor Trajan. The result was what Rome called the Dacia province. This Roman influence shaped the Romanian language. The Romanian language is a Romance tongue in the midst of all of Romania's Slavic neighbors. After Roman withdrawal in 271 AD, waves of migrants started sweeping through the area, and it forced the locals to kind of flee to the perimeter of the area. By the mid 14th century, principalities had started emerging. These fledgling and loosely affiliated territories fought for autonomy, and they had leaders like Vlad the Impaler resisting Ottoman incursions. You guys know Vlad the Impaler, of course. He was the inspiration for the character Dracula. Fast forward to the 19th century, the 1800s. It brought a spirit of nationalism. The local principalities united in 1859 and formed what we now know as modern Romania. Independence from the Ottoman Empire was won in 1877 during the Russo-Turkish War. After World War I, Romania expanded into Greater Romania and it incorporated outlying territories like Transylvania and others from dissolved empires. World War II was brutal for Romania. They saw territorial losses to the USSR, Hungary, and Bulgaria in 1940. Romania allied at first with the Axis powers until about 1944 and then switched to the Allies just as the war was winding down. After World War II, the Soviets occupied Romania and by 1947 had installed a communist government. They abolished the monarchy and created what they termed a People's Republic. By the 1980s, Romania's military landscape was dominated by its Warsaw Pact membership under Soviet-style communism. This severely limited engagement with Western Europe and the United States. Importantly, this left the collective West without any access to the strategically critical Black Sea, as the Soviets had full or constructive control over every state on the Black Sea shores. The communist era sputtered into repression and economic hardship that peaked in the 1980s. By 1989, it was drastic, and a revolution overthrew the communist leader and installed a new, loosely democratic government. Constitution was adopted in 1991 that established a multi-party republic, and just 13 years later, Romania joined NATO in 2004 and then the EU in 2007. These two memberships, NATO and the EU, they marked Romania's full integration into strong historical Western institutions. Drilling into the important Black Sea area, particularly the port city of Constanta, U.S. involvement grew through the 1997 strategic partnership that elevated U.S.-Romanian relations. By the late 1990s, for example, U.S. forces were using Romanian facilities for Balkan operations, including MK Air Base near Constanta for U.S. operations against Kosovo in 1999. After September 11th, 2001, Romania actively supported and participated in the U.S.-led coalitions, deploying troops to Afghanistan in 2002 and Iraq in 2003, leading to NATO acceptance in 2004. As a result, the U.S. realigned its bases in Europe. It established Joint Task Force East in 2008 for rotations into Romania and Bulgaria. This included access to MK Air Base near Constanta and the Constanta port, facilitating Black Sea operations on behalf of the United States. By 2010, about 1,000 U.S. troops were regularly rotating through Constanta. The Black Sea port city of Constanta became pivotal. MK Air Base, which is just about 10, 20 miles from Constanta, evolved from a Soviet-era facility into a U.S. NATO hub. By 2005, U.S.-Romanian agreements allowed shared use of the base, with Constanta's port enabling logistics for Iraq and Afghanistan. By 2007, 8 agreements governed operations. They covered training, security, and the environment. European forces, like the French-led battle groups after the 2014 Crimea annexation, also rotated through the MK Air Base. Since Russia's 2022 Ukrainian invasion, U.S. and European presence in Constanta has surged. The 101st Airborne Division deployed to MK Air Base. NATO allies added air defenses. Constanta facilitated Ukrainian grain exports with NATO navies securing routes. U.S. security assistance has exceeded a couple of $100 million annually and has modernized Romania's forces with F-16s and mobile rocket systems. European militaries have provided training and equipment, reinforcing Romania's eastern flank. Overall, The military transformation in Constanta has transformed Romania from a Soviet satellite to a NATO linchpin. It's safe to say Constanta has emerged as a cornerstone of U.S. strategy in the Black Sea region. Constanta now offers unparalleled access for power projection, deterrence, and logistics. Its location on the Black Sea positions it as a gateway to Eastern Europe. It also serves as a gateway to the Caucasus region and the Middle East. Constanta also crucially counters Russian influence on the vitally important Black Sea. And strategically, Constanta counters Russian capabilities. It allows U.S. monitoring of Russian fleets, while MK Air Base supports intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions. The U.S. views Constanta as a buffer against threats to Moldova and Ukraine. Expansion plans announced in 2024 aimed to increase personnel to upwards of 10,000, making MK Air Base NATO's largest European base outside of Turkey. Well, Baron, why are you talking so much about Constanta? Oh, I'm glad you asked, because boy, do we have a jam-packed show for you tonight. Anybody know where Romanian Angels set up shop? Anybody have a clue? What port city, what vitally important strategic port city Romanian Angels was operating in? Anybody want to guess based on that opening statement where I think we're going tonight at some point? Yes, my friends. We will be in Constanta, not Costanza, not like George Costanza. It's like Constanza with a T, Constanta. So I wanted to give you the history so that you could see as we roll through tonight's program how Constanta grew from a place where the U.S. had really no presence for decades into a place where Romania sort of said, all right, if you're going to set up bases on the Black Sea, here's a nice place to do it. So we're going to dive right into it. This is going to be, like I said, a vital show, an absolutely vital show. I'm going to start by showing you a map of Romania, because a lot of people don't know where it is. That happens from time to time. We show some sort of an area here. So this is Romania. If you wonder where it is in the world, that's Ukraine. That's Ruska. And then we got Poland, Germany, France over here. And we've got Romania right here in the middle. You see how vitally important that area is. This Black Sea area, this is the way that these guys get into the Mediterranean. They come right through this little canal right here that runs by Istanbul, and it dumps them right out into the Mediterranean. So if you are Russia or you are Ukraine and you want access to the world, you get to do it through the Black Sea. For a long time, the United States had no real presence in the Black Sea. It was controlled by Turkey, Georgia, and the Soviet Union. And that's when the port city of Constanta comes in. It's over here somewhere. There it is, Constanta. You see this? This is a nice little area right here. This is a nice little area right on the Black Sea. So I always wondered, why Romania? Why did she want to go so badly to Romania? Well, we'll look at a little timeline that may help us get there. So let me open, ladies and gentlemen, with a patent application. This is a patent application that, nope, don't want to do that. I want to remove it, and I want to get rid of it. All right, here we go. Let me give you a patent application. This will bring us to the beginning of our story. This is a patent application that began in 2010, but it was not complete until this filing right here on December of 2014. This was on behalf of Lawrence Ginta and Lori Frantzve. There's some debate over whether they ever got married or not. But this is a patent application for really the most basic thing you've ever seen. I know it's got a lot of diagrams and it looks pretty complicated, but the reality is all they're doing on this patent application, and I can scroll down and read you the summary here. It's a method and apparatus to use a computer to gather information and measure and determine criticality. Like this is like a spreadsheet. This is just a spreadsheet with you enter perceived values and it spits out whether or not a particular area is of high value or not. Method and apparatus for computer-aided research, assessment of risk, criticality, and vulnerability with respect to a site. And here is the summary of that. You've got this current assignee here is AZ Tech International, doing business as IMET Laboratories. Again, Lawrence Ginta and Lori Frantzve. This is just the summary of what we just saw. But I wanted to show you this because you can see how it ties to AZ Tech International doing business as IMET Laboratories. Well, what were these people doing? Well, prior to that, these guys were lobbying. They were lobbying. What does any good government contractor do? You want to do work for the government, you got to lobby. So IMET Laboratories in 2006 was out busy lobbying. They were lobbying the defense and disaster and emergency planning avenues of government. So we have a lobbying statement. So we have a new product that's getting patented. They file for the patent at the end of 2004. They get their patent in 2005. And then they immediately run out and start lobbying people to use their patent. Well, who is AZ Tech? Who's AZ Tech? This is AZ Tech. AZ Tech is was filed in the same era. So we have the patent application, we've got the lobbying taking place, and we immediately have let me pull that up just a hair. We immediately have AZ Tech operating in this suite right here. This suite is going to become vitally important to everything we talk about tonight. So pay attention to this suite. This is 8321 East Gelding, number 101, Scottsdale, Arizona. This is going to become a hub of activity. This is AZ Tech International operating in East Gelding. It's going to become an operational hub of activity. I will show you what it looks like on a map because it's always fun to see maps. Here is your map. So it's just an industrial park near the airport. Here's the airport, Scottsdale. This is just a little industrial park right here. And if you pull down, you can see it's just a pretty nondescript looking building. It's Suite 101, which is right here in the corner. This is where a lot of activity takes place from 2006 until a year or two ago. So what else is going on in this area right here? So we're in 2006. They've opened up this business. They've got an operational location right here at 8321 East Gelding. They've got themselves a patent. They've got themselves a lobbying operation. This is about the time, if you go back to this AZ Tech filing, you will notice that the filing took place on, let me find the date. I've got the date right here. Yes, here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go back to this one. This is the AZ Tech application. It took place on September 20th of 2017. That's that date right there, September 20th of 2017. That's Lori Frantzve's name. That's her signature. She's the CEO and president. The timeline here cannot be more critical. Keep in mind what was happening in the world in Romania when we were talking about this. So this is, that's not right, is it? No, it was 2007. Excuse me, September 24th, 2007, not 2017. Okay. So we have in 2006, if you remember the opening, we have the United States vitally trying to get access to Romania, really trying to upgrade their access in Romania. You've got a patent application in 04, 05. You've got lobbying in 06. And then you have a business filed right here, September of 2007. And now you have yet another business filed just a few months later. Anybody want to guess what business that is? That is this business. Everyday Heroes Like You. Everyday Heroes Like You was filed just a couple of months later. Just a couple of months later, it was filed. Here is your signature line, September. So Lori Frantzve opens AZ Tech September of 2007. And in November of 2007, Erika Frantzve and Lori Frantzve opened the world famous charity, Everyday Heroes Like You. Now, what did world famous charity end up doing? Oh, that's right. They had access to Romania. They went to Constanta, Romania, and they started traveling back and forth in that region right there. Now, I want to pause and I want to give you a break for just a second because we got to catch up. This is just getting started. So if you're not following along yet, you're going to be very lost. If I need to recap, I will. All of this so far has taken place between late 2004, early 2005, and the end of 2007. It's about a 3-year period here. We've got an idea, and I will just spoil the surprise. The idea sucked. The idea was just a way, and I'll get to that in a second, but the idea was just a way to get a foot in the door. We got this idea. Oh, we've got this proprietary way to run spreadsheets. Now we got to go lobby, and we got to find somebody to buy our spreadsheets. The Defense Department, the Department of Energy, somebody's going to have to buy our ability to do spreadsheets. Oh, you want to buy it and you want to use it in Romania? Oh, we got to have a reason to get in Romania. We'll open a tax-exempt charity that does work in Constanta, Romania. Okay, now that you're caught back up. Let's go to Everyday Heroes Like You. Where is Everyday Heroes Like You located? Well, glad you asked, because we know. Incorporated in 2007. Immediately took flight with numerous projects all over the world. Well, that's really convenient. I wonder if you had any access to immediate opportunities all over the world. Where was it located? Oh, East Gelding Drive. It was located in East Gelding Drive. The same suite, the same area where our military contractor mother is opening up a spot. Well, that's awfully convenient. That's weird. How did that work? Can someone articulate that for me? Anyone? Oh, I can. It looks like a sheep dip operation. It looks like a cover. It looks like you're trying to come up with a reason to be in Constanta, Romania, where the United States is trying to establish operations. It gets worse. Here is an earmark. This comes out of the defense bill, out of the Army National Guard budget. This is a former Representative Harry Mitchell from Arizona added this earmark. You guys know how earmarks are, right? You know what an earmark is? It's called pork. It's a way to get things into the budget. You put a line item in there. And this is what happened. We got ourselves an earmark for IMET Laboratories. You remember who IMET Laboratories was? They're doing business as AZ Tech. Same company. IMET Laboratories, AZ Tech, Scottsdale, Arizona. That's who had the patent. They get a $2.4 million earmark in the fiscal year 2008 budget. So again, we have a patent filed in late 2004, approved in 2005. We start lobbying in 2006. In 2007, we open up a company. In 2007, we open up a charity that can operate right alongside our company. And in 2008, we get a $2.4 million pork earmark out of the defense budget. Isn't that convenient? Well, what is this? What is J3, J6, National Military Cyber Operations? What does that even mean? That sounds awfully weird to me. That seems awfully weird to me. What is this earmark that's going to IMET Laboratories? Doing business as AZ Tech. What is that earmark? Well, let's look up what J3 and J6 is. This is the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the United States military, the body most senior uniformed leaders in the United States Department of Defense. Now the Department of War. It advises the president. It advises the Secretary of Defense. It advises the Homeland Security Council. It advises the National Security Council. You've seen these guys. These are the ones at the State of the Union that sit right up front in their military garb, and they don't move a muscle the whole time. They don't look happy or sad. They don't cheer. So these are our current members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. These are General, 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 Admiral, General, 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 Admiral. So let's scroll down and let's see if we can find out what J3 and J6 are. What are we doing over there with our stuff? Oh, here's J3. So this is the directorates of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. These are the different departments. J3 is operations, the National Military Command Center, part of the J3 directorate. And J6 is command, control, communications, and computers, cyber. It's one of a group of agencies that administer SIPRNet. We'll talk about what that is in a second. Other administrators include the National Security Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Defense Information Systems Agency. This is your spy department. SIPRNet is the Secret Internet Protocol Router Network, a system of interconnected computer networks used by the Department of Defense and the U.S. Department of State to transmit classified information by packet switching over the completely secure environment. This is how they communicate without having to go over the internet. Who? Well, the NSA is doing it. The DIA is doing it. The DISA is doing it. So we have, at present, a Lori Frantzve filing a patent for basically a glorified spreadsheet. And then she takes up lobbying. They lobby the issue to try to find a contract. They open a company, AZ Tech, off East Gelding in September of 2007. In September 2007. 2 months later, they open up Everyday Heroes Like You that ends up operating immediately, as we read, all over the world. I can go back to that. Immediately took flight with numerous projects all over the world. That's really convenient, considering, again, you guys will recall what we covered the other night. Everyday Heroes Like You has never had to file a 990 because they've never raised more than $50,000. Yet somehow this random charity opened by a 17 or 18-year-old girl immediately takes flight with numerous projects all over the world. And that's exactly the same time her mother gets a contract to work with the NSA, the DIA, the DISA, and this J6 Command Central Communications, Command Control Communications Computer Cyber contract, and a little bit of operations with the National Military Command Center. Lest you think that's relatively innocuous, this is the Command and Communications Center for the President of the United States and the Secretary of Defense. It's maintained by the Air Force. It's responsible for generating emergency action messages, missile launch control centers, nuclear submarines, recon aircrafts, and battlefield commanders. This is not a routine run-of-the-mill contract this woman picked up. This is deep intelligence. This is really deep intelligence. Now we go to a new company here, and I'm going to have to share and then pause share and then share again because I don't want to show her address if I can avoid it. So we've got this E3 Tech Group, also known by one other name, which is AZ Tech International. So this is the same company. This E3 Tech Group. And I'm going to go back to here for just a second so I can scroll past her address. And I want you guys to see something here. This is the classification of the E3 Tech. So we know her mom is a woman. It's a woman-owned small business. If you are familiar at all with government contracting, you'll understand that that gives you intimate access to particular contracts. Woman-owned small business gets advantages. There are what they call set-asides. And there'll be a set-aside that a contracting officer might set aside and say, 5% of our money or 10% of our contracting money will be awarded to women-owned small businesses. Or they'll give it to a big contract and they'll say, you've got to give a portion of the money to a woman-owned small business or a woman-owned business. But I noticed as I was looking through here There's a self-certified small disadvantaged business. I'm thinking this is a white woman, Lori Frantzve. Other minority-owned business. Again, this is a white woman. Minority-owned business. Economically disadvantaged women-owned small business. 8A program participant business. Well, been around the block a little while, and I know exactly what an 8A program participant business is. I'm going to show you from the code in just a second, the CFR. But I'm going to suggest to you that something's very wrong here. This was a huge red flag the moment I saw this. I started looking at this and I thought something has gone terribly wrong. Because I pulled up the code of federal regulations, because I'm a nerd lawyer and that's what I do. I pulled up the code of federal regulations, not the current one, but the one back in 2008. This is your CFR from 2008. Yes, this is what I do in my spare time for show prep, ladies and gentlemen. I pull up the CFR from 2008. And it's small, so I may have to read it to you here. But this is it right here, Part 124 8A. That's why they're called 8A businesses. These are business development, small disadvantaged business status determinations. And this is a way to figure out who are businesses, what businesses are we going to consider 8A businesses? Which ones are we going to consider economically disadvantaged? Which ones, in other words, are we going to give priority to? And let me just defend the federal government here for a second, because I do think there's value in the 8A program. There's difficulty for people to break into government contracting. It's not easy to break into government contracting. Let me lower this for just a moment. When you want to break into government contracting, there's a ton of paperwork. You have to know how to game the system. Like the way you respond to a government contract is not, someone said don't defend the federal government. I'm defending this one program. The way you break into federal government contracting is very, very difficult. You have a ton of research that has to be done. An individual response to a single request for proposal on a particular project could take months. And if you're competing against the same 8 or 10 gigantic defense contracts every single second of every single day that you're doing this, you're going to lose every time. Because Leidos and Lockheed and Boeing have basically unlimited resources. So if you're firing up a small business and you say, ooh, I'd like to compete for that contract, and then they look at your paperwork and then they look at Boeing's paperwork, you're going to lose every time. Boeing's going to win. Not because Boeing will do a better job necessarily, but because Boeing knows how to play the game better. So the federal government came up with a way to do it. They said, we're going to give certain contracts, we're going to set them aside for small businesses. And certain contracts we're going to set aside for minority-owned small businesses. And that's this Section 8A. Whether you like it or not, that's the way the game is played. That's the way the system operates. You cannot like it. I know Tucker recently did a show on 8As. And they can be abused. Don't get me wrong. But what's the purpose? The purpose right here is to authorize a minority small business and capital ownership development program. That's the purpose of the 8A. Now let's look at who qualifies. What are the basic requirements to be an 8A? You meet the basic requirements if it is a small business which is unconditionally owned and controlled by one or more socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. That's the requirement, socially and economically disadvantaged. Well, who are these socially and economically disadvantaged? That's this 124-103. Yes, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a lawyer and I'm a nerd. I can't help it. This is how my brain works. I saw that she qualified. Her business was an 8A business. I've heard Erika tell everybody she owns it. She's the owner. And so I thought, well, she looks white to me. Here is the rules. Generally, socially disadvantaged individuals are those who have been subjected to racial or ethnic prejudice or cultural bias because of their identities and member of groups and without regard to their individual qualities. These are the members of the designated groups. There's a rebuttable presumption that the following individuals are socially disadvantaged: Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, Asian Pacific Americans, Taiwan, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Korea, the Philippines, U.S. territory of the Pacific Islands, Federal Republic of the Marshall Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, Guam, Samoa, subcontinent Asian Americans. These are people with origins from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc. Members of other groups designated from time to time. This is for minorities. 8A is for minorities. So we go back, and I want to go back and look. This is how Lori Frantzve classified her business. An 8A program participant. She's claiming to be a minority, the way I look at it. Now, again, this is all opinion based on what I have to look at. I've not heard from her. Maybe she has a different understanding of why. But I looked at a picture of her and I thought, is she Black? Is she Hispanic? Is she Asian Pacific Islander? Is she from the Indian subcontinent? Where is she from? That she is an economically disadvantaged woman. Where's she from that she's a minority? Where's she from that she qualifies for an 8A participant benefit? This doesn't make sense to me. It's crooked. But if you look, what you're going to find is this contract, this original contract that's right here, this E3 Tech Group contract, was what they call sole sourced. Sole sourced. And because it was sole sourced, that means they didn't bid it out. It was a no bid contract. And a no bid contract necessarily has to have some reason why it can't be fairly bid out. 8As can sole source contracts. They can go to the contracting officer and say, hey, I would like to have this contract. But where are these contracts taking place? You remember Erika said she was very active in politics in Washington, D.C.? Well, this biggest contract that E3 Tech Group had was in Washington, D.C. $500,000 in Arizona, where they live, and a little under 100,000 in California, where Erika lived for a short period of time. Remember, she said she lived in Venice. That could explain how one is very active in politics in Washington, D.C. But you would have to establish that she is somehow a minority. All right, now let me fast forward to something weird that's on their website. If you go to the E3 Tech website, on their contact page, there's this line right here. Joint Service Achievement Medal for classified operations during Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Now, you remember Operation Enduring Freedom lasted, I think, until 2011, and Operation, that was Iraqi Freedom, and Enduring Freedom was Afghanistan, I believe, and that lasted until like 2021. But I saw this and I thought, well, that's weird. How would she have won a Joint Service Achievement Medal for classified operations? What are the requirements for a Joint Service Achievement Medal? Well, funny you ask, because I'm on the Air Force Personnel Center website here, and I found out exactly how you're qualified to be a winner of this prestigious award, the Joint Service Achievement Medal. To be eligible, you must be a member of the Armed Forces of the United States. In order to win the medal, you must be a member of the Armed Forces of the United States. You can't win the medal. And remember, this is on their website. I'm not saying that I'm not the one saying it. They're the one saying she won the medal. Joint Service Achievement Medal for classified operations. And in order to win that, you must be a member of the Armed Forces of the United States below the grade of 06. And you must be assigned to organizations like the defense agencies, the headquarters of unified commands, the Office of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Office of the Secretary of State. If you go back, do you remember what the original contract was for? It was J3, J6, National Military Cyber Operations. And we talked about that is an intelligence that was assigned to these NSA, the Defense Intelligence Agency. The J3 is working with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the White House, the Secretary of Defense. And so this medal makes a lot more sense. The only missing component is must be a member of the Armed Forces of the United States. Hold on, I got to look. I pulled up a page and I can't remember why I pulled it up. Oh, yeah. So let's roll out of this for just a moment. Let me close all these tabs out because I'm going to get lost and confused here. I hope you're following along at home. I hope this makes sense up to this point because, believe it or not, it's about to get weirder. Because nothing about these people makes sense. Do you remember my opening from a couple of days ago where I talked about sheep dipping? I applied it at the time to Erika. I'm confident now that I should have been applying it to her mother. I should have been applying it to her mother. Do you remember this picture that we couldn't explain? This picture came out recently. This was Erika when she was Miss Arizona, USA. She was meeting with the big dog, the highest, I think, ranking member of the enlisted forces for the United States Marines in Washington, D.C. There's her mother, Lori Frantzve. And if you zoom in, everybody had trouble figuring out why she was wearing the insignia of an E8. I don't know if you can see that on your screen. I'll try to make it as big as I possibly can. You remember this? We were trying to figure out why she was wearing the insignia of an E8. It didn't make sense to me at the time. It makes a lot of sense to me now. A lot of you people are saying, what is that? Well, glad you asked, because I'll tell you precisely in a moment what it is. This is, well, I'll give you a cleaner picture of it first. Here's a better picture of what we were just looking at. You see that? That's a better picture there of what we were just looking at. Now, I looked up the best I can. And every decorum website I could find said the only people who would wear this insignia on their clothing are members of the military. And if it's on civilian clothing, it's usually because they're retired, but members of the military and spouses of deceased members of the military. Short of that, nobody else wears this. And it's very unusual that anyone would wear it anyway. And this made the rounds. This made the rounds not terribly long ago. But I don't think when at the time it made the rounds, people had seen this. That she claims to have won the joint, or somebody at this company that she owns claims to have won the Joint Service Achievement Medal for operations. Let me show you what the insignia is. This is the insignia we were just looking at. It looks just like this in real life. This is the rank of the USMC E8, First Sergeant. Don't believe me? We'll go back and show you. It looks just like that. That is the same insignia. 3 up, 3 down, and the little diamond in the middle. That's still, as far as I can tell, that's it. Looks just like that. Well, here's a description. First sergeants, that's the E8 we just looked at, serve as senior enlisted advisors assisting the commanding officers in matters of discipline, administration, and morale and welfare of the unit. They serve as the senior enlisted military in a company, battery, or other unit at a similar echelon. That is the rank she was wearing. Now, and again, just in case you forgot, it looks just like this. That's it. And I don't know why she was wearing it. But it probably has a lot to do with the fact that she claims, or her website claims, she won the Joint Service Achievement Medal for classified operations, which, again, you have to be a member of the United States military in order to win that medal. So let's pause here for just a second. We'll pause for a second. Let's take a deep breath, because where we go from here, it gets a little weird. Could be a stolen valor situation. I don't think it is. I mean, she's standing in that guy's office. I think he would look over there and say, "Ma'am, can you take that off? That's unbecoming." So let's go to a leak that took place. Let me pull up her name. Oh, that's got her address on it. Let me pull up the one that does not have her address on it. Oh, that one does too. I got 3 copies of it. One of them does not. There we go. No, it does too, but I will clip it so it doesn't have her name on it. Doesn't have her address on it. All right, you got to look at the bottom. There is a person here in this particular leaked document. There's a person here who is at the very bottom right there. You see that? Lauren Frantzve at the very bottom right there. Oops, sorry. Sorry, Lauren. I don't even know if that's current, but this is a leaked document that's been out. But that's Lauren Frantzve, which is an alias of Lori Frantzve. So what is this document? Let's go to the top. This is a document that was leaked of members of the Intelligence and National Security Alliance, the INSA. INSA is the premier not-for-profit, nonpartisan, private sector professional organization providing a structure and interactive forum for thought leadership, the sharing ideas, and networking within the intelligence and national security communities. INSA has over 150 corporate members, as well as several hundred individual members who are industry leaders within the government, private sector, and academia. It includes ex-directors of spy agencies and current spies, ex-White House national security staff, members and ex-members of Congress and their staff, senior military officers, senior corporate personnel, and other notices. You'll notice how many NSA people it has on here. And then it starts listing people down the way here. So Lori Frantzve is in this leak. Does that mean a deep state spy or anything like that? Yeah. The way I look at it, it does. The way I look at it, it does. I mean, here's what I make of it. Here's my opinion on all this. This was all just fact, just reading off the publicly available information that's out there. Here's what I make of it, though. I tend to believe Miss Frantzve was in the military at some point for a long time. And I believe that because her entire career is promoting things that you have to be in the military to have. For example, wearing the insignia on your civilian clothes when you go into the Pentagon or whatever office this was in. Where you're winning medals that you have to be an active member of the military to win. But you remember when we talked about sheep dipping, we mentioned Air America. And this was where you would take people in government employees and you would discharge them, military people, intelligence people, and you would discharge them, but not really. You would cut them loose, and then they would come back on as contractors. And they would fly missions. They would fly planes. That was the Air America example. Air America was basically a CIA-controlled airline that flew around Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War. And if anybody ever got caught, they would have free reign to say, no. I don't work for the CIA. I just work for this airline. It's a civilian airline. And they said, well, you used to work for the CIA. Yeah, but here's my discharge papers. I don't work there anymore. That's called sheep dipping. And if you wanted Lori Frantzve to be operational, flying under the radar, you would do this. You would discharge her from the military, and then you would give her a contract, a defense contract. And you would have her run over and set stuff up and be like, hey, she's just a contractor. She's just out there doing her contracting thing. She has no military connection whatsoever. No military, no intelligence connections whatsoever. I always wondered what her connection was. It never quite made sense to me that this random woman living in Cincinnati at the time, if you hear Erika tell the story, she's very vague about what happened with her folks, Kent and Lori. Oh, they divorced when I was really young. Yeah, well, you were really about 10. You know, I mean, I guess that's pretty young, but I mean, you were aware of what was going on. And you know, why, someone asked her, why did you move to Arizona? Well, my mom had more opportunity out there. She had more opportunity out there. There were more people out there doing defense stuff. Well, what kind of people were setting up shop around her? Who were these people that were around Lori Frantzve that were giving her this additional opportunity? What's going to follow in this next segment is some speculation, admitted speculation. But I'm just giving you an idea of what kind of people were setting up shop in this industrial park next to the Scottsdale airport. So let me pull up the LinkedIn page of a guy named Charlie Ferrer. Charlie Ferrer. We'll talk about who he is in just a second. We'll give you all the details you need to know, but I just want to pull up the LinkedIn page here so that you can get an idea of who this guy is. And we'll tell you why we're talking about him. I'm not this is where I just begin to speculate a little bit. I like to warn you when I'm speculating. Nothing else was speculation except my opinions. The rest of it was just cold, hard, solid fact. There's a guy named Charlie Ferrer. He's the CEO at Paradise Greens and the managing director at a company called Attacksol. We'll talk about that in just a second. Lest you think they're not connected, not only does he mention them there, here's a race car apparently he was driving that has both Attacksol and Paradise Greens as a sponsor. Well, who is this guy? Well, for one thing we know about him is he has an FFL license. He has an FFL license, a federal firearms license. It's a Type 7 license. Right there, Type 7, which is the manufacturer of firearms other than destructive devices, meaning you're making guns, not bullets. I mean, guns, not bombs. And you'll notice his address here, 8321 East Gelding Drive, Suite 100. Not Suite 101. That was Lori Frantzve. That was AZ Tech. That was E3 Tech. That was Everyday Heroes Like You. That was all founded about the same time. This is next door to that. This is next door to that. Well, what does Attacksol do for a living? How do we know them? Well, here's their website. They do security services, security consulting, active shooter solutions training, mobile training teams, drones, remote video monitoring, firearms, crypto tracing and recovery. They are an industry-leading provider of these things. Quiet professionals who deliver proven solutions. top tier personnel that have distinguished military, law enforcement, and executive protection backgrounds. And if you look at their services here, they'll build you a pretty fancy gun. They'll build you a nice little gun. They have great success in building precision rifles, AR, and pistol builds that have been proven in the field. Proud to offer our expertise to the government, law enforcement, and military. So this is what they're doing here. If you look at their contact us, though, this guy, Charlie, if you look at him, he is born and bred, in Phoenix, Arizona area. Went to, again, if you go back to his LinkedIn page, he went to Arizona State University. He's been in this Paradise Greens and Turf Company since 2004. He's been the managing director at Taxol since 2012. He seems to be an Arizona guy. But if you look at his phone number, that is a Virginia Beach area phone number. That's Chesapeake, Virginia. There are a lot of military intelligence things going on around that area over there. That's Joint Base Langley. That's all in area code 757 over there. What else do they do? Well, something else they do is sniper training. They have sniper training courses. And lest you be confused, that Taxol is Armageddon, that's the A, and then Tactical Solutions is Taxol. A Taxol does sniper training courses. And they got all this evidence here. This guy spent more than 20 years using sniper rifles. So it's difficult for sniper schools to surprise me. So when I was invited to Taxol's sniper experience course, I felt a mix of emotions. My excitement to get back on precision rifle was tempered with my typical skepticism. It did not take long to turn my skepticism into a very broad smile. A full-service training company in Phoenix, Arizona, can teach operators to use most weapon systems. The sniper experience course I attended was led by John Gibb. Well, there's your connection, because John Gibb is one of the people on the formation documents for Taxol. He's a former Army Ranger, as well as a proven military sniper and competitor, and Chase Stroud, again, someone else on the formation documents, a world-class precision rifle shooter with numerous wins on the Professional Rifle Series Tour. These men provided incredibly broad and experienced perspective. At the Legion Operator Training Facility, it rivals some of the military bases he's visited for previous training. It has a 1,000-yard known distance range, 2,500-yard unknown distance range. There are drop zones, a shoot house. Their website says you will train like a real U.S. military sniper. This is the people whose business was next to everyday heroes like you and E3 Tech and AZ Tech for a decade. Train like a real U.S. military sniper. Copious amounts of PT, head games, low crawls, 15-mile rucks, all absent. But all else was indicative of current training doctrine. 5 days long, included lodging, food, ammo, and pretty much everything else you'd need. It's $4,000 for this class. And they were provided with a .308 sniper rifle. The day started on the 1,000-yard range. Students getting solid evaluation or elevation numbers up to 1,000 yards. It's very fancy. They're using computers and smartphones to get it, to dial it in. Once dialed in on stationary targets, we engaged moving targets out to 800 yards. The .308 he was using provided incredibly accurate, making it easy for me to get solid hits on targets out to 800 yards. The optics was also incredibly helpful at these ranges, thanks in part to built-in level. He hit an IPSC size target at just shy of 1,400 yards. Then he went to a 300 Win Mag. Regular hits at 2,000 yards. Covered position shooting on barricades from alternate positions. He's an incredible shooter. He sounds like one. Sounds like an incredible sniper. This is just an incredible, detailed description of an afternoon or 4 spent with sniper pros who happen to be based next door to AZ Tech and E3 Tech for a decade or so. Or more. Attend this one. The Taxaw has done a fantastic job of mixing practical training and just plain fun. Atmosphere and attitude is excellent. Instructions, professional. And there's their website, a Taxaw. Now, is this me saying one of these guys took a 1,000-yard shot at Charlie Kirk? No. Is this me saying one of these guys trained a shooter to take out Charlie Kirk? No. And let me give my standard disclaimer. Nobody should contact any of these people. Not Sharon, or not Lori Frantzve, not Charles Ferrer, nobody. Nobody needs to contact anybody. We've done our research and confirmed all this stuff. Nobody needs to call anybody, email anybody. If you look stuff up online, I'm fine with that. If you want to do a podcast and draw your own conclusions, I'm fine with that. But nobody needs to actually spend any time contacting any of these people. It would be wrong, and I highly discourage it. But I don't think it's unimportant to note. I think it's important to note this stuff. I genuinely do. Particularly when we have evidence that these guys are, in fact, also government contractors. Here they are on USA spending. There's that 8321 East Gelding Drive suite. And they've got some money, education, training, curriculum development. I don't know what they were doing, but it could have been a sniper school. It could have been anything. It's a small contract, admittedly. And in case you're wondering what this guy does in his spare time, here is another company he formed called Global Intelligence Group. It doesn't sound innocuous to me. The Global Intelligence Group doesn't sound innocuous to me. It sounds like these guys are doing stuff. It sounds like these guys are engaged globally. This is another business he filed in February of 2015. This is, again, Walter Charles Ferrer. This East Via Lane, I think, is just a UPS store. I don't think it's an actual, obviously don't drive to any of these people's houses anyway, but it does not appear to be a home address. So I add all this up to myself, and I think, is it possible that we've been looking at the Charlie Kirk story wrong? Is it possible we've been looking at the Charlie Kirk story thinking his security team may have been the one that took him down? Is it, and again, I'm just using this as an example, but these are the types of people that were next door to them for over a decade. If you've ever been in any kind of these small office parks, you know how it kind of works. You're either there for a reason and you're both there for a reason, or you get to meet people. What are you guys doing over there? Oh, we're in the defense industry. Oh, you're in the defense industry. Wow, you got some cool toys in there. I don't know that they ever met. That Attack Saw may have never met anyone has anything to do with Everyday Heroes Like You, or anything to do with E3 Tech or AZ Tech or IMET Laboratories or anything like that. It's possible they've never even met. But I speculate when I see that kind of a situation next door, because one of my first instincts was when I looked at the UVU campus, One of my first instincts was, I'm not sure the Losi Center would be where I would take a shot. You know, if I was going to take out Charlie, there are a lot better places I can think to take the fatal shot than where the fatal shot was allegedly taken. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is, let me make it a little smaller here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is the courtyard, the famed courtyard. It's the menorah looking thing here. This is the famed courtyard where Charlie Kirk was last seen living. And this is the Losi Center up here where the shot allegedly came from, right here. But we've already discussed ad nauseum that there was no shot that took place from there. There was no 30-06 that hit him from that location. His head would have been gone. It would have just completely taken his neck off. That's beyond dispute. This has been tested 1,000 times, thousands of times on YouTube. You can find any number of exemplar videos of people taking shots at various ranges, various caliber. I mean, various grain, weight, various powder loadings. Every single time, frangible, not frangible, full metal jacket. It doesn't matter. Every single time, it's through and through. The 30-06 is too powerful of a weapon at that range. There was discussion that maybe something came off of the Sorensen Center. That's this building here. And that would have been a better angle. That would have been a better angle. I am entertaining the gunshot narrative for just a second. But you know what else would have been a great angle is this little thing right here. And I'll show you in a second why I say that. But this is the parking deck. So if you wanted to get up on a roof and take a shot from there to there and hit Charlie Kirk and get out of there real quickly, that would be the perch. That would be the location. Another possibility is this building back here. You actually can get a very good angle. I'll show you that in a second from back here. This is an administrative building or something. And I'll show you the distances on these in just a second. If you drop a ruler from this point to where Charlie Kirk was, it's about a 300-meter shot. That's well inside the range these guys were shooting at the range that day, where the guy said he was trained on day 1, 2, 3, or 4 to take this shot at 800 meters and hit it pretty regularly. So that's one option there. You're at 295 meters there. If you go to this other little nub that I was talking about right here on the parking deck, you can go from there to where Charlie was, and you're under 200 meters. You're at 184 meters. And I think both of those provide a better vantage point and a better possibility of not getting caught than, as we saw off the Losi Center. This is the corner where that figure in black was seen jumping off of. You also had another situation because your library, the school library, is back here. And if you remember the recordings from that day, and I don't have them pulled up, but if you remember the recordings from that day, there was somebody near the library who saw somebody in black tactical gear running away. I don't think it's unrelated that the Army ROTC building is right there, and the Center for National Security Studies is right here. That's your CIA pipeline program. But all this is taking place over here. But I look at these two and I thought, man, that would have made it a longer shot. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that'd been a really long shot, especially once you get out this way. This Clark building, there was actually radio that somebody said they saw somebody jumping from the Clark building in black tactical gear, or near the Clark building in black tactical gear. Well, that angle's all wrong to me. But this angle right here is really nice. This is a pretty cool little angle if you are trying to take down Charlie Kirk. Let me switch it around. I'm sorry I'm making you dizzy doing this. But I want to zoom in here and show you how nice this little angle is and how nice this little perch is. You see that? You get right up on that perch. You've got a perfect angle. You're higher than everybody. Nobody can see you. You've got somebody watching out at the Losi Center, making sure nothing happens to you. That's this building over here, making sure nobody else is on any rooftops. And you just got a perfect little perch right down on top of Charlie Kirk. if you get a little closer, you can actually get right down on it and see how a guy standing upright would have a perfect little angle right there. And that's actually not a bad little angle compared to the wound we saw on that side of the neck. So I didn't want to get into all that for the purpose of relitigating whether there was a bullet or where it came from or what the direction was or what the trajectory was and all that. But I do want to raise the issue that there are still a lot of unresolved problems when it comes to how did Charlie Kirk pass away? What ultimately took his life? It's beyond dispute, in my opinion. It's well beyond dispute. It was not a 30-06 from the Losi Center. That's nonsense. That's an absolutely nonsensical item. The angle's wrong, and the round is wrong for that wound. But some of these other ones, I think people haven't spent enough time looking at what are some of these other angles if it was indeed a bullet, if there was indeed something there. And if you have somebody that's that professional, could they be shooting a lower paced, smaller round, like a 300 blackout round? Would that do that kind of damage? A 300 blackout subsonic round flies very slowly. It drops quite a bit. The wind has a hell of an effect on it, and it tends to tumble. But these guys sounded pretty fancy on that article I was just reading. These guys sounded like they knew exactly what the hell they were doing. So I just raised the issue because I think it's important that we dig into Lori Frantzve. I think it's critical that we stop taking at face value everything we've been told about Erika Kirk's past. For example, I covered on this page, on this show a week or so ago, maybe, how Erika Kirk's real estate license, or maybe it was this week, maybe it was earlier this week, but Erika Kirk's real estate license, she didn't actually get the real estate license until October of 2018, a month after she met Charlie Kirk. And so she supposedly went to interview at TPUSA. Well, guess what else didn't happen until after that? Look at the date that Proclaim Ventures was filed. This is the streetwear company. This wasn't filed until January of 2019. So I think it's safe to say the streetwear company wasn't making a real income at that point. Proclaim Streetwear was not even operational before she met Charlie Kirk, or at least their filings were not operational before she met Charlie Kirk. I think it's just, again, one more nail in the coffin of the idea that Erika Kirk is anything like what we've been told. One more nail in the coffin that Lori Frantzve is anything like what we've been told. The stories don't add up. I'm not saying they're sheep-dipped intelligence operatives. I'm not saying she's a military person who was sheep-dipped into this defense community. I'm not telling you that the Romanian Angels was a cover to get into Constanta at the exact time that the U.S. military was filing paperwork like this with the United States and Romania, signed in Bucharest, December 6th, 2005. Where were they trying to go? This is the agreement. They were trying to go to Constanta, Romania. MK Air Base, right outside of Constanta, and then Constanta itself, this maneuver area. This was 2005. This is when Lori Frantzve was filing her patent. And let me tell you, read the patent. It is nonsensical that anyone needed this patent. The patent in government contracting is a foot in the door. If you needed to fake a government contract, but you needed to make it look legit, why did you just hand this woman a bunch of money? Oh, she's an 8A. She had a patent. We had to sole source it. We didn't have any choice. We couldn't bid this out. Nobody else had the patent. And the 8A gives us the hook to allow us to sole source it. And again, sole source, it's just a no bid contract. That means the contracting officer has an amount of money they're allowed to spend, and they can just hand it to a company that meets any criteria as long as they're satisfied. That's all that means. And this is what we are dealing with. This is what a sheep dip operation would look like. Now, put it in the context of her meeting Charlie Kirk. She wasn't selling real estate because she wasn't licensed yet till a month after she met Charlie Kirk. She wasn't selling Proclaim Streetwear because it wasn't even open until 2 months after she met Charlie Kirk. The hell was she doing to make money? It wasn't the podcast. The podcast wasn't making any money. I'm not even sure it was up when she met Charlie Kirk. Let me look here. Let me go back to Apple Podcast and go to the first episode of the Midweek Rise Up. I didn't even know that this was happening before she met Charlie Kirk. No. This didn't even happen before she met Charlie Kirk. None of it was taking place. This is Welcome to Midweek Rise Up, August of 2019. So the podcast, the real estate, and the streetwear all came after she met Charlie Kirk. They've all been used by people defending Erika Kirk to say, boy, she was so successful in New York City. She was just killing it. She was making money hand over fist. She didn't need a job at a place. She just wanted to do something, man. She just wanted to make a difference, man. She just wanted to preach economic libertarianism to college campuses, man. Everything's fake. It's all fake. It's all a lie. It's not true. It doesn't add up. The story doesn't make sense. The more you look at it, the less sense it makes. You know what makes sense to me? The United States government saw a recently liberated Romania that was wanting to break away from their Soviet ties and get involved with the West, get involved with NATO, get involved with the EU, help out in Afghanistan and Iraq, help out with Kosovo in 99. And the United States government said, hey, we like these people. And they've got a very critical port on the Black Sea. We could use them. We could use these people. We just got to have a way in there. And then you have Romanian Angels. Just happens to open up in that exact area. Just about the exact same time they need it. So I just hope you guys stay on this. I hope you stay on this. I hope you guys do not let this story die like Charlie Kirk died. Because it's just a devastating reality. Because if none of it makes sense, if she didn't have Proclaim Streetwear, if she wasn't selling real estate, if she didn't have a podcast, then her entire reason for being in New York City was a total lie. So we have to ask the question, what was she doing in New York City? We're on that case. We're on that case. We just have to lay a little foundation, build the story as we go. We have to ask, what was she doing in New York City? Who was she hanging out with? What was she doing for money? We know she had that period of time where she was globetrotting with professional athletes and shacking up. We know that. But there was a period of time between the shacking up and before Charlie Kirk. And that period of time is a few years. What was she doing in those few years? And does it give us any insight into why Charlie Kirk is no longer breathing oxygen? Why Charlie Kirk has had to go to glory? We're going to keep bringing this story to you because it's devastatingly important. Devastatingly important. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm going to start with the grumblers here. Try not to be religious in the chats, but trying not to be, but firing Carrie Prejean from the White House Religious Liberty Commission is enough. How can we send a big message to White House? We're angered, and Zion needs to stop taking precedence. I talked to somebody today. I'm going to let that story play out a few days before covering it. And there's a critical reason why. The guy I talked to about it, I'm also talking to, he was a personal friend of Charlie Kirk. He knew him and he knew intimately what was going on in Charlie's life. And I want to talk about it with him. And we can't do it today. So I hope that makes sense here. Need your perspective if the Nancy Guthrie media coverage, the level of narrative curating is giving me cringe. How little I trust with the media spoon feeding. I can't watch mainstream news anymore. I responded to this because you asked this before the show and I did respond to it. It's fake and gay. The news media coverage is fake and gay. If you wanted to avoid talking about the Einstein affair, if you wanted to avoid talking about the war drums beating on the way to Iran, that is very unpopular, you might be relieved to have Nancy Guthrie to talk about. Also, if you wanted to send the message that this is what happens to you when you cover Einstein, your mom goes missing. Because if you remember, Savannah Guthrie covered Einstein and actually had some of the victims on television. And then her mom goes missing. So keep that in mind. Baron, my first super chat. Wish I could give more, but want to show my support for all your incredible work. Keep it up. Love from Boston. Crisis King. I've got a Boston story coming up before long in one of my opens. I've already started drafting it. It's about the Boston bombing and how there's a lot more there than we were told. That the FBI might have actually caught one of the other people. Let me say this. We got a new member today. If you weren't in the member chat yesterday, you missed a bananas show. We went wild in the super chat yesterday. We talked about, we started with Stephen Hawking and Einstein, the real Einstein, Albert, not Jeffrey Einstein. We talked about Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking, and then all of a sudden took a right turn into Mars and Venus and Saturn and the different explanations for humanity and early Genesis. It was nuts. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I loved it. Yes, it was good. Yes, I will say that. It was good. The medal says for E7 and below, it is presented by the Secretary of Defense to personnel below the grade of 06, Colonel and Navy Captain and E7. Okay, thank you. I should have read more closely. Baron, what can we actually do to combat the evil people throughout our government? The ones in the files, the ones who choose our greatest ally over the United States. What can we Americans do to change things? My mom and I love you. One thing you can do is watch. This is not self-promotion, but watch and support shows like this. Candace, Ian, Jesse on Fire, Coach, Colin. I'll forget people, Tucker Carlson. There are a lot of people out there who are trying to sound the alarm on what's going on globally, who are not amused at all with the way foreign policy is shaping up. So I would watch and support people like that, because if not, you're going to be left with Ben Shapiro and Barry Weiss. Those are the only options you're going to have left. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is not be annoying to people, but be honest. I have a good friend that I mentioned our greatest ally to a year or two ago, and it was the first time he'd ever heard somebody not just drool all over him like they're the greatest thing ever. I remember when I first mentioned it to him, he's like, "What are you talking about? You don't support them?" And I was like, "Not really. Like, I support people who are good for us, and I don't see that they've been good for us. Like, they've been nothing but bad. Everything that they've dragged us into has turned into a total disaster. And I just don't like war, and I don't like death and destruction, and I just prefer my foreign policy a little tidier." And he had never heard that before. He said, "Wow." And he started looking into it, and he's like, months later, he comes back, he's like, "Hey, I started looking into this. You might be onto something. Maybe these people aren't good for our foreign policy. Maybe they're not good for America at all." And I was like, "Well, I'm just telling you what I see." So feel free to talk to people, not in an annoying way. You don't ring somebody and say, "Let me tell you about what happened overseas." But if you have the opportunity, if it comes up and you just calmly say, "Yeah, I'm not a big supporter. I'm not a big fan." not a fan of these people. These are monsters. These are monsters in the files. These are monsters in foreign policy. It's death and destruction. Nothing's good. These people are causing harm. And I'm unapologetic about it. I'm not a supporter of this type of stuff. Man, I think you'll see that you get a good response from people because they don't think you're nuts. Can we get another eyes impression? Lives in my head rent free. Go back and watch it whenever I need to laugh. You asking me to be a circus monkey, to speak on command. I don't know if I can do that. Oh, I forgot all about my delicious soda. I don't know if I can do that. It has to be organic. Safety harness. The way Barron has been lately, I think I'll put on my helmet too. Got to protect my high IQ to stay in the club. Yes. We will not allow you to become low IQ. You will be over the wall. We will not have it. We will not allow it. Safety harness on board. Go Max. Why was TB demoted? That Tyler Boyer? He was removed from the COO position at some point a few years ago. I don't know. What are Justin Strife's qualifications to be COO? I mean, what is anyone's qualification to be COO? It's the most, I mean, no offense to the COOs out there, but it's the most overrated position in a company. All you're doing is kind of advising the CEO. You can do that anyway. You don't need a fancy title for that. Have you done any JS vetting? Justin Strife? Not much, honestly. Why would Pierre choose JS? Justin Strife? I don't know. Maybe knows him or it's just an entree into the company. When did JS and Pierre first connect? Can't tell you. What does Pierre get in return for the deal? Probably more money if I had to guess. I mean, I can't really think of anything else that he would want. He's not American. Why does he care about American college students learning about economic libertarianism and old-fashioned backwoods Christianity? I just want to say, I got your hoodie color right 2 nights in a row. You must know the pattern. My 2-year-old screams, Barron, once the countdown happens. We love you. Oh, you have the smartest 2-year-old in America. Guy's going to be a genius. How can we beat this evil so deep and out of control? Together we can. Together we stand. Sir Barron, you give me hope. Thank you. I try. I'm doing my best out here. I hope there's no pizza with the grape soda. No, this isn't grape. This is blackberry. I'll prove it. Blackberry soda. I don't do grape soda because it doesn't taste like grape. Grape soda tastes like purple, and that's weird. Hey, Barron, 1 month, man. Keep going, Max. By the way, I'm going to email you a follow-up chat. Grace is King, thank you for doing you. Thank you. Look forward to reading it. Thanks for joining the members page. I hope you enjoyed yesterday. It was nuts. Hey, Barron, every time I connect to your program, I get cut off from my connection. Really strange. Christ is King. I actually asked on X if people were having trouble with their notifications, with their subscriptions, with finding. I'm in a lot of it. They are. And I can tell you about what day it happened because I watched the views. You know, I kind of know what the views should be total. And it just like 40% of it cut out overnight. And I thought, did I say something wrong? I don't think so. Because that's about the time everybody started telling me they were having trouble watching it. Imagine Erika was Madeleine McCann. The police sketch looks like Ghislaine. Wouldn't that just blow your mind? Never miss a show. You're great. I think she's far too old to be Madeleine McCann, right? Madeleine McCann went missing in 2003. Yeah. 2007, she went missing. She was born in 2003. She's way too young. Way too young. I know this girl. I can watch the whole show tonight because my new boss let me sleep in. Woo woo. I'm officially an RBP employee. Yes. That's the marshmallow woman, and she starts tomorrow. So give it up for Nurse Casey. She's coming on board tomorrow. We don't start as early as her old job because we stay up late because of this program. I'm really excited about it. There's a lot I've been needing to get done that you guys keep asking me to do, and I'm like, I can't. I don't have time. I got to put a show together. I started working on the show today before 8 o'clock. I worked on it every moment I was home that I wasn't eating until showtime, until 30 minutes before showtime. I took a shower and came in here. So I am ready to have some help. I already have help. Daisy did yeoman's work again today, helping track all this stuff down. Greatest researcher in America, bar none, not even close. Erika's impression worth way more than $10. You and family stay safe. Oh, I did do the eyes. Hey, I did some eyes. It was a different set of eyes this time, though. But yeah, I did some eyes. Oh my gosh, I immediately started praying when Erika started her crazy eyes. Love you, Baron. I love you all you do. Jesus loves you. Yeah, we need Jesus after seeing her talk to Glenn Beck. We prayed. And then we talked to Lord Jesus. I already read that. If you click on the team of the E3 Tech webpage, it says this. The team is composed of people who have built, sold, and deployed the product for years. Our experience will make you successful. Meet the team. I believe you. I believe that's what it said. I would never fight you on something like that over there on the Grumblers. I would never fight you, Grumblers. You people are tough. The Grumblers are a tough bunch. You got to watch out for them. They bite and scratch. Perhaps this whole thing would make one hell of a Netflix doc, in my humble opinion, allegedly. Perhaps. So excited for the opening statement. You're the best. Oh, thank you. What is my advice for a newly married couple? Gosh, that's a great question. Advice for a newly married couple. Time. Got to spend time together. So easy to let the time get away. Now, I'm not saying like 18 hours a day, because when you don't have kids and you're newly married, you can basically come home from work and spend every second together until you go to bed. But after a while, man, especially with phones, the internet, if you're watching a podcast, watch it together. Sit in the same room, hold hands. Take baths together. Something about talking in a hot bath or a sauna or something where the temperature's a little elevated. Assuming your bath is big enough. You're in a little hotel bath, and that's not going to cut it, but you know what I mean? I think time is the biggest obstacle. I really do. Love is willing the good of others. And if both of you are willing the good of others, the marriage is going to be spectacular. If one of you is willing the good of the other, you're going to have a good marriage, but it might have a little resentment. If neither of you are, if both of you, it would be tough. The other thing I would say is stay away from any of the doom scrolling that involves like nasty women talking bad about men, nasty bros talking bad about women. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just everywhere. Keep in mind, demons want to destroy your marriage. They're going to start attacking you the day you're married. They'll attack you with, women and men. They'll attack you with images on your screens. They'll attack you with trying to make you too busy to be able to spend time together. They'll drop ways to miscommunicate in your lap. But if you identify certain distractions that you know are going to cause a problem, just go ahead and remove them. Make it a thing. We remove them. I'm not saying you come home on a Friday night and say, Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home, and throw the phone away. It's not what I'm suggesting. I mean, you can. But I'm suggesting that, time is the biggest thing. The second thing I would say is have as many kids as you can. Start early and often. Early and often. When your kid's 9 months old, start having another one. When that kid's 9 months old, start having another one. When that kid's 9 months old, start having another one. I've never met anyone who's like, man, I had way too many kids. Hate them. Never. I've never seen an old person dying on their bed. It was like, man, if I'd only had fewer kids. If I'd only had fewer kids. Keep having kids. Keep having kids. They're good for your marriage. Good for your family. One thing I noticed with EK Beck interview that CO played, EK was, towards the end, would look down at the desk every other phrase, as if she was reading a script. Had not noticed that before. I noticed that today as well. And I had not noticed that before either. And I hadn't really watched that whole interview. I'd seen a couple of clips here and there, and I don't know that I'd seen that part, but it was pretty obvious. She kept looking down and almost like she was reading, or she was very unsure of herself, one or the other. I'm locked in. First time watching live. Keep going. Christ is King. Today was dense. Some shows are more fun than others. All shows are important. Today was dense. We had to get underwater. I had a lot of ground to cover. And if I was going to do it, I like to cover the ground in under an hour and a half so I can spend some time talking to you guys in the chats. If I was going to cover all that, like, I should show you how many links I had. I could count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 23. I had 31 links to go through tonight. That's a lot. Or 30 links to go. There were only 2 of my 32 buttons were not taken by links. That's a lot. So, I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Hey, Baron, first super chat. I'm watching from London, England, 12:30 p.m. here. Love your personality and perspective. Erica is what we call dodgy over here. You guys have the greatest words. I mean, other than the fact that you call fries crisps, and other than the fact that you call cookies biscuits, other than that, you have great terminology. Too bad you still have a king. First super chat. Love watching shows. Go Max. Thank you. Why did Rob McCoy give a speech at the end there and compared Charlie to Constantine? Does that relate? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. Previous show, anti-slap law. But Baron, there are people in Arizona I want to slap. Rude. Yeah. Anti-slap is if someone sues you for defamation and it's a garbage, they're just trying to stop you from speaking. They just don't like what you're saying. You can hit them at the anti-slap law and they owe you a lot of money. It's a great protection. Hey, Baron, grew up Baptist. Wanted to ask you if you were raised Catholic or if you chose Catholicism as an adult and why. I chose it. My wife and I came into the Catholic Church at Easter of 2008. I chose it after probably 10 years of studying, trying to figure out which version of Christianity I felt had the most systematic, logical, and historical explanation for their existence and their theology. And that's why I chose it. I'm not super evangelical in the sense that I'm not telling everybody run out and be Catholic. But if you ask me a question, I'm always going to answer it. And that's why. Also noticed in Candace Owens' clip with Erika Kirk, Beck felt like she was testifying in a trial. Every sentence memorized, measured, choreographed. Hindsight reveals. I need to watch that whole interview. I've never watched the whole interview. I honestly, you know why? Can't stand her. I genuinely can't stand her. I genuinely get the creepiest vibes from her. I didn't used to. I've gone back and watched old. You remember, like Jesse on Fire had a really cool video about that. At least a thought exercise that Charlie Kirk might still be alive. I don't buy that, but they played a lot of clips of them before, like from years ago, and it's about like when I played the old sermon from Rob McCoy from 2010 or 2012. And he was like warm and inviting. And I thought, man, I would love this guy to be my pastor. Like he was amazing. And now you watch him and he's just bitter and gross. Something changed in that man. And I think something changed in her. Erika wasn't wearing a wedding ring on Glenn Beck. I didn't notice. Good catch. I'll check that out. It reminds me of when Cosmo Kramer hit a golf ball into the air hole of a whale offshore, only to be recovered by George Costanza pretending to be a marine biologist. Lies. We need to investigate. That was a great show. The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup at a deli. I got that whole speech memorized. My husband and I joke that if one of us has a dumb, low IQ airhead moment that day, they can't watch your show that night. If the only one, I'm the only one watching tonight. Thanks for making us laugh and learn all week. Hey, take it easy on him. He needs to, if that's true, he needs to be here. We can help elevate low IQs. Matthew 17:21 is the cure for disease, but in some Bibles it goes from verse 20 to 22. Why would they censor the Bible? It's really disheartening to know that the Bible is being rewritten. I don't know that this is the case, but I know there were a few verses they've gone back and they're just not consistent with the earliest manuscripts and they think were added in the Middle Ages. My explanation is that that's probably the case. That it's one of those, but I don't know about that verse in particular. Erika told MK. Megyn Kelly, she worked in New York as a casting director. Beauty queens often used to cast models, as shown in movie Sound of Freedom. Oh, that kind of casting director. Well, here's my thing. If she was a casting director, show me the credits. Go to IMDb and show me the credits. You know, IMDb is not like Wikipedia. It's kind of authoritative. If you were the casting director and you casted roles, show me the credits. Tell me one person who worked with her to be cast. Now show me 10. Show me enough projects she worked on that could support her in New York City. You remember when I was talking about sheep dipping? The whole point of using the entertainment business as a cover is people don't understand it. It's confusing to us. I don't understand it. But I don't believe for a second she was working as a casting director and making so much money she did not need a new job. And I don't think she came to Turning Point to get a job anyway. I'm telling you, research what was going on in Charlie Kirk's life at that time. Think about where he was in life. Think about what was going on with him. Hive-minded crowd, go research. Look at the date, try to figure it out. Look at Charlie's social media, try to find other things that were going on at the time. See if you can put this together. She came for a reason. She was invited there for a reason. She was brought by Tyler Boyer for a reason. Baron, for your timeline, Erika has a law degree. Well, not really. She has a master of laws, not a juris doctor or a doctor of jurisprudence. Pics of her graduation at Liberty University on May 12, 2019, with Charlie giving commencement speech on her IG under law school tab. What? She didn't go to law school. She didn't get a law degree. She's not an attorney. She's not a lawyer. She's not ever taken the bar, nor is she qualified in most states to take the bar. She got a master of law degrees, which is like a master of business administration or a master of finance. A 2-year degree. You go in, you sit in some classes. It gives you enough background for law. I'll show you the program. Master of Laws, Liberty University. This is the Master of Laws. This is how they, oh no, that's an LLM. That's different. Is it Master of Legal Studies? Because that's an LLM is a graduate law degree. Yeah, here it is. Master's degree in law. This is the degree she earned. Are you interested in pursuing graduate level legal studies without attending a residential law school? Maybe your career requires that you gain a better understanding of law, but does not require that you become a licensed lawyer. That sounds like you. Liberty University offers several online Juris Master degrees and the online Master of Laws degree. With Liberty's graduate level degree in legal studies, you can gain expertise in American or international law. You can also learn about various significant policies and explore how regulations affect institutions around the world. Business professionals, church leaders, journalists, missionaries, and professionals from many other fields can all benefit from an education in law. Sheep dipping. It's called sheep dipping. She was being set up for a mission, and they wanted her to be educated. They wanted her to have some degrees behind her name to give her credibility. Sheep dipping. Again, just my opinion. Just my opinion. When Erika was doing her press tour, she said something like, "You want to come after me? Fine. Go down the rabbit hole. But don't come after my TP family." Found it odd, like she was admitting there is a rabbit hole with her. I think she thought she'd papered over her rabbit hole enough. That's what I think. I think she thought she had papered over it enough that it didn't matter if you came after her, if you looked. And I disagree. I totally 100% disagree. The entire job is possibly from the inside. Thank you, Grumbler. That's a good comment. All aspect of expertise required for a hit are self-contained. This explains the hubris and deceit from TPUSA. IMHO. Thank you. Great work. Well, thank you for that generous contribution and for your thoughts and wisdom there. UVU is the only place besides New York City where the UN meets. Interesting. I did not know that. The UN meets at UVU. President of UVU, Astrid Tumanez's husband, died in 2025, and then she retired this year. His obituary said he was born September 10th, 1963. Jeffrey Stewart Tolk of Provo, Utah. Well, I didn't know that. That's interesting. That does interest me. I did not know the UN met at UVU. Why there? Candace has Blues Clues, and you can be the Dora Baron the Explorer with Matt. Yes, the Romanian map, ladies and gentlemen. I will point to you where the Black Sea is, and then I expect you to find it. Now, Ian Carroll, I would not have to do that with. I've watched him now twice do map shows, and his knowledge of the geography of the globe is just incredible. I am doo-dooing my pants. What the cheese is this? Yes, we've all doo-dooed our pants together tonight. Watched Ian, then Candace, now you. Thank you for not backing down. Keep asking the tough questions. You've had a full day. They've had a great day. You're very educated tonight. A great show, Baron. As per usual, in your opinion, what are the three most critical mistakes made in the neutralization of Charlie Kirk? Neck instead of chest, TR living, Brian Harpole on Sean Ryan, go Max. Those are three good ones, yeah. I think it was intended to look like a chest shot, not a neck shot. I think that was a mistake. I think that was an accident. The second thing is I think they should have nailed down public appearances for the people involved in the days leading up to it. I'm assuming this is the thought experiment here assumes that this is the hypothetical. Let's say this. The hypothetical assumes that there were more people involved. Wife, friends, coworkers. Those people should have been occupied publicly at least once during those days. Preferably at different times where they're, showing a video of them at home on social media. They're obviously seen out somewhere. They check into a restaurant on TikTok or on Instagram or something, whatever, one of these apps that let you do that. I think that was a huge mistake because you have this black hole for days leading up to this where nobody can account for their whereabouts. Having somebody as low IQ as Brian Harpole involved is probably the biggest mistake. That's probably the biggest mistake. And he's so low IQ, he didn't realize he was being set up. Methinks the Frantzve ladies are madams for the gross generals. Government contracts is the remuneration. That's disgusting. That would be an interesting take. I don't know about that. I certainly wouldn't suggest that. But you have your opinion. I'm not going to fight you over it. Thoroughly enjoyed the show yesterday. We were blessed to have you. Unfortunately, I donated to the tarnished people under sus allegedly in October. Today, I got a voicemail from Erika Kirk begging for money. I blocked the number. You should ask for your money back. A lot of people have, and they've given it back. Send them evidence of the donation and say, I'd like this returned to me. And it's happening. People are getting their money back. Thank you. Have I looked into Sabby Sab's research on why refi at TPUSA events? God bless you. Thank you for your courage and persistence with the truth. Go Max. I have not. Was J6 at Fort Huachuca? J6 is a lot of places. Probably. It's a classification, not a unit. This sounds like a lot like Palantir. I have a friend who directly works with Palantir. She stated all it is a fancy looking spreadsheet. JD Vance, Peter Thiel, EK Herman. I mean, isn't all computing at its core just a fancy spreadsheet? Some just fancier than others. That spreadsheet and that patent is very unfancy. Let me just tell you that. Very unfancy. The green hoodie's the best hoodie? It makes those green eyes, what is that, a bang in a good way? Not Erica Crazy Eyes way. First time ever buying a membership. Worth it. Thank you, sweet Naomi. I was in a room one time. My old law partner. We were sitting in a room. It was the two of us, and we had a legal assistant. She was sitting there with us. And he looked around the room and he said, what are the odds 3 people with green eyes are in a room and they're the only people in a room? And so we did the math. It was like astronomical. But we were all there. There we were. against all odds. Against all odds. Lincoln said that the U.S. would be taken over and destroyed from within. My God, he was right. We're destroying ourselves like a drug addict, but it's with money and power. It's going to be our demise. All empires fall. None of them make it. None of them make it. The United States experiment at some point will collapse. I don't know when. I don't think it's like tomorrow, but at some point it will collapse. And the result will be caused by the same thing that causes nearly every empire to collapse. Those at the top get so greedy that they start exploiting everyone else and they just destroy it from the inside. And you think, oh, well, the Roman Empire was attacked from the outside. Well, only after the inside just completely rotted. There was no support left. There was no foundation left to withstand it. I don't know why there's this meme going around that men spend too much time thinking about the Roman Empire. And I think they're right to some extent. I think they're right. There's no team there to meet. Oh, when it says to meet the team? Yeah, I noticed that. I clicked around. There's a lot of things that are missing from that website. That's the other thing that makes it look fake. I'm going to get to that question in just a second. If you look around that website, it looks like it was cobbled together just to try to withstand scrutiny. It doesn't look like it's actually doing anything. Fun facts, light mood, lifelong Northern Indiana resident. You mentioned the movie Hoosiers one night. My dentist growing up was number 25, Raid. Great movie. Oh, he was the actor? How about that? I heard a cool story about Peyton Manning meeting with the cast, and he went around and he knew all their names. He knew their stories, and he's like, loves the movie Hoosiers. Those Frantzve bees notches are culture vultures. I hadn't heard that in a long time. 16-year-old EK gets her learner's permit. At 17, becomes an NOC in the IC. Sounds like blatant nepotism. Nice use of Blake Neff. Hey, Baron, the note Erika found said priorities, family, children, legacy, kids, number one versus careerism, consumerism, and loneliness. Speaks volume. It looked like it hurt her feelings, too. In my opinion, it looked like it hurt her feelings. I will say this. I don't believe for a second that their marriage was surviving. I don't know that he would have left her or she would have left him, but I do believe it was on the rocks. And I've got good reason to believe that. And I think it's a missing component of this whole story. I told my wife one time, if you're ever going to leave me, don't kill me. Go. Leave me alive. Leave me alive. Because it happens. It happens, buddy. People take out their spouse when they're ready to go. They don't want them around. That's why they're always the first people to be questioned. That's why they're always suspects. AZ Tech sounds like Aztec, big on human sacrifice. Funny little coincidence. That's an Aztec calendar right there. I've got AZ Tech in my office. This is tragic. You guys will tune in tomorrow. There'll be something else there. Hi, Baron. This is my first ever super chat. I became a member yesterday. I love all your videos. Appreciate all the effort and work you put into making a great show. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm doing my best over here. Is there any way to get you to move your AU logo to the safe? I was first endeared to you because the AU connection, WDE forever. Yeah, I went to Auburn for undergrad. The problem is I redecorated and I moved stuff around and it's not on camera. I can bring it back out. You know what I'll do? It was a pennant, right? I think the Auburn thing that used to be in the over here was a pennant. I'll put it on the side of the safe right here. That'll break that up a little bit. Yeah, War DE. I'm not gonna say it because it's ugly. Baron, I'm grateful. War Eagle, young lady. Baron, I'm grateful to have your insight on a weekly basis. Can you please turn on your closed caption settings so we can read your words for the hearing impaired? I'm just hard of hearing, but use CC often. I've answered this as many ways as I know how. I check every option that is available to me. For whatever reason, they do not close caption my show. I don't know if it's a size of the show, number of subscribers. They've never done it for me. But I can assure you every option is checked. It's turned on, which is why after the show processes a few hours later, you get closed caption. But I've had many people ask, and as a fellow hearing impaired American, I sympathize with you. I actually had to stop watching Lord of the Rings the other night with my family because even with hearing aids in, I couldn't hear a word they were saying because they whisper in those stupid accents. I got frustrated. I got up and I said, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm out. They're like, where are you going? I'm like, I can't hear a word. I'm so tired of going, what do you say? What do you say? And I've seen the movie. Women are considered minorities in EEO guidelines. They're not considered minorities in 8A guidelines. Love your nerdy, brilliant brainworks. Oh, thank you. Doing my best over here. Very good at getting info. Can find Erika anywhere. There are military schools in Ohio and Arizona. I'm doing background. You can't find Erika tied to her mom. I mean, you can. You mean in terms of birth? I read a birth announcement in Cincinnati. So I know that it exists. I think I asked old Daisy to dig that one up. I said, is there a birth announcement? Yeah, hold on. Here you go. That's what I knew. You were great on Candace, great on Jimmy. Next stop, Rogan. I actually think you would get along. Plus, he started reading the Bible and going to church. Hey, I'll be back on Jimmy Dore next week. On the 19th, I think. Next Thursday, maybe? Yeah, next Thursday. Not sure the exact time. I think it's 4 or 5 o'clock Central Time. But I'll be there. E9 Marine because of the 4 rockers. I'm taking your word for it. Her rank looked like E9. 4 down, but the rockers bottom are the negative space, which was 3 down. Oh, that's why I misread it. Baron, the same rank insignia for the Air Force. They had a program several years ago bringing civilians in at high rank in the cybersecurity experience. I thought about doing it myself. I was not aware of that. That's good to know, and I'll look into that. The EB First Sergeant Major rank would be a diamond in the center. Hers like it's round, almost like it's the EGA. Master Gunnery Sergeant EA has is that a bomb in the middle? That's what it appears to be. Okay. Look, I'm just showing you the rank. It appears she's wearing E9, 3 chevrons, 4 rockers. Hers has 4 rockers. Looks like a Master Gunnery Sergeant. Hey, I believe all of you. I was just showing you there was rank. Band name equals the Deep State Dippers. Let me look here for a second. E9 insignia. Marines. I see that 4th rocker. But she couldn't make E9, could she? Oh, it says it features a bursting bomb commonly referred to as a pineapple. Maybe she's a swinger. I figured it out. Now we know how she got rich. Oh, gosh. I just never heard about the pineapple. FY08 began on 10/107 for timing. Also, as you probably know, you have a sugar daddy if you get a sole source contract. Lastly, those insignias were not the same, E8 versus E9. Duly noted on the last piece. I believe all of you in the comments. Yes, sole source is the way to go. If you can get a sole source contract, you are connected. It's like printing money. Not only that, a lot of once you get a certain level of classified contracts, it doesn't even have to be reported. So we have no idea what they've been doing. No idea whatsoever what they've been doing. Thank you for helping us get to the truth. I'm doing my best. Just got the book Rome Sweet Home. What does the rosary do? It just helps you count. That's all. Nothing magical about it. Just helps you count. Just a lot of people say this is the rosary. 10 fingers. 10 beads on a decade, 10 fingers. You could use anything you want. You could use poker chips if you want. It's just a mechanism to help you count. I'm following along like an Egyptian plane. Great investigative work, B. I do my best. Baron. Oh, no. Baron. Been watching since the Google Trends videos. Appreciate your journalism. I cried so hard when Charlie passed. What is your current theory? Still believe it wasn't a bullet? Crisis King. I still believe it wasn't a bullet. But I will say, after stumbling across these high-end snipers and talking about how far they can shoot, maybe they can hit something at 800 yards or 1,000 yards, and they could have been anywhere. They could have been in a tree stand. God knows how far away. I don't know, man. I'm not saying those particular snipers, but I mean, why are we looking inside of 140 yards for the answer? Is it misdirection? Was the guy on the roof misdirection? So we'd stop looking out and looking at line of sight further out? I don't think it was a bullet, though. I think it was multiple causes of death, any one of which would have been fatal. You're mistaken about the emblem. I believe you. Thank you. I'm in full belief you. I believe you as well. I believe you too. Coach Colin is just getting ripped for his debut with Candace, so he won't have a pooch while sitting in the guest chair. Well, that's a low blow. That right there is a low blow. I wouldn't do that to you, Branham. I wouldn't do that to you. I got dizzy working out today. I had to quit. I hate quitting, but I had to quit. I don't know if I hadn't slept well for a couple of days. I haven't slept well for a couple of days. I got a lot on my mind. And I don't know if I hadn't eaten well, maybe. I thought I ate well. But I did drink a cup of coffee really late before I went. Normally I drink it a little earlier, so maybe that had something to do with it. But we went from being upside down on our hands. You got to hold that for like 30 seconds or so and then turn over and immediately jump up onto the rig and hang. And just that, after a couple rounds of that, I was like, felt terrible. I thought I was getting sick. Have you noticed EK very touchy with men, laying on Trump at the memorial, JD hugging hair, hand under Trump's hand at Charlie Kirk Award, now hand under military man's hand in your video. Very forward and too personal. Yes, I have noticed that in all those instances and more. There's actually more of that. Did you not watch the audition video we saw? Did you not see her engagement photos or whatever those were with the other gentleman? The professional looking photos she took with somebody else, another boyfriend. I've noticed it. And from experience, I've noticed what I think of women who are like that. And not being an ugly way, but just being kind of I'm here. Don't forget about me. You know, that's all I want to say on it. But yeah, I've noticed it. First time, long time. You sound like a radio caller. First time caller, long time listener. In Tyler's infamous Shakespearean exchange with Lance, he says G-Paw is asking because the feds released pic of the rifle and it's very unique, yet we're told the pic released is a stock photo. Case closed. You're supposed to not think about stuff like that, sir. You're supposed to look past all the discrepancies. You're supposed to look past all the inconsistencies. You're supposed to not pay attention to any of that. You're supposed to forget that the governor went on a press conference and said that he changed clothes on the roof. You're supposed to forget about that. You're supposed to forget about everything that happened. Yes, it's garbage. That was not a World War I era 30-06. Oh, they released a photo. But see, the numbskull who was drafting that probably didn't know that they'd released the wrong photo. Good catch. Good catch. Stop paying attention. Stop. Are you suicidal? No, never. I live an amazing life. I have 8 wonderful children. I have a beautiful, amazing wife. I live 5 minutes from my mother, an hour and a half from my sister. I talk to I talk to my dad regularly. Friends, family, love what I do. Not remotely suicidal. Not even close. Do you have thoughts on the harming of others? Do you have thoughts of harming others? No, I'm a peaceful man. I'm not even like war. Mr. Coleman, calm down. We're just asking questions, sir. We're going to need you to come down the stage for questioning. All right, beautiful Breen footage. Duly noted. I know where you're going. You were connecting the dots in Charlie Kirk's death. Yeah? What made you think that? What made you? You're sharp. Hey, thank you for that generous donation. It gets a lot deeper than that, madam or sir or madam. I don't know what brighting is. Is that a man or a woman? Oh, the picture's a woman. Sorry. The picture's so small on my screen. It's not no offense. All I could see was your name because your name is much bigger the way I see it. Madam, we are absolutely doing that. Hang around. There's some good information coming your way soon. Hey, Baron, impressive research as always. You never disappoint. Well, thank Daisy for a lot of that. She helped me tremendously organize my thoughts around this. And her ability, like if you ask her, like, do we have formation documents on that organization? Yeah, hold on. Brrr, here you go. Can we find it? Brrr, yep. I mean, you get an idea and you just ask her, and it comes. All of a sudden, there's a document on your screen. It's amazing, amazing. Can't wait for your first book. God bless and protect you and yours always in the name of Jesus. Well, thank you. Very kind of you. How very interesting that the whole neighborhood would have a street view available on Google Maps. Seems like LF has connections. The whole neighborhood would have a street view unavailable. Oh, the whole neighborhood. Well, don't go looking her up. I'm going to have to edit all that out. Charlie never had a chance. Well, he did, but he would have had to violate his conscience. That's the problem. Look, Charlie was presented with a Faustian bargain. Sell your soul and we'll give you the world. You know how many people have taken that deal? How many entertainers have taken that deal? How many corporate magnates have taken that deal? How many tech bros have taken that deal? You sell your soul, we're going to make you so rich, you're not even going to know what to do with all the money. You'll be leaving your kids billions of dollars. Think Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, you can be that. You'll be advising presidents for generations. Everyone will know your name. You might even be president. All you got to do is X, Y, and Z. Sorry, guys, I'm out. He was presented with a Faustian bargain and turned it down. That's the whole genre of literature. People who sell their souls. I mean, it was offered to Jesus. Look out. All this can be yours. You may never know that there are companies that rent suite addresses to a building to companies that aren't even there. Just use a business agreement. Yeah, but that's not them because you go back in time and look and they were there. He looked forward to this all day. Oh, you've looked forward to this all day. Well, been banished to the basement with flu B for over a week. We're huge in the Balkans. Love you, Baron. God bless. Guys, you need to take vitamin D and K2. Lots of it. That way, if you get the flu, it doesn't hit you quite as hard. LF Father Joseph Anthony Abbas. Oh, Lori Frantzve. Joseph Anthony Abbas died at 407. Obit listed Larry Ginta Frantzve. Joe in Army World War II. Mason Abbas, her grandfather, born in Syria, according to the death certificate. Yeah, I'm familiar with all that. We have her family tree pretty well documented. Are you saying that makes her a minority for the 8A purposes? Because have you ever heard her presented that way in public? If so, then that's low budget. Because have you ever heard Erika talk about how she's Syrian? How she's Arab? Have you ever heard that? Have you heard that part of her narrative? Here's how I became how I am. Well, I'm Syrian. No. I want to correct my last comment. It looks like the rank insignia is 3 up, 4 down with the globe in the center. USMC rank, same as the guy. Yeah. That's. I think we've been corrected. Hey, Baron, I rarely time to watch. I'm a big fan of your work. How real you keep it. Jesus is Lord, but it's time to revolt. Not against Jesus. It's not time to revolt. Come on now. I get carried away. Go to timestamp 2317 on Canvas's video from tonight. The eyes. I immediately thought of your possession take on Erika. It's freaky. You're also an excellent teacher. So glad we have you. Thank you, Annie. And yes, you're exactly right. Her eyes are possessed looking. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way around it. Tracy Martin signed with NSA, according to her Insta. Screenshot, emailed 7:30 p.m. NSA, Tracy Martin, now deleted, took yesterday when watching CO. Well, that's worth looking at. Hold, please. Let's see if we can find that. I hope you emailed it to Real Baron Podcast because I delete everything else. 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tracy Martin, NSA, in a now deleted post. Whoa. Well, you're not lying, are you? That's bananas. Let's pull that up and let's all look at it together. Signed with NSA? Where is it? Where are you? Yeah, we'll do this one. So this is, oops, goodness gracious. Sorry. Whoa. Sorry, guys. Milestones and memories in 2024. Refined spring event, birth of another grandson, last birthday in my 50s, Tom's 60th birthday, Boo's 21st birthday, McKenna's 25th birthday, summer vacation in Montana, leaning info, legacy book published, refined fall event, signed with NSA. I always create a mandate and mission for my coming year. My word for this year remains legacy, but with a bit of refinement. Stirred in a pitch of wisdom, topped off with clarity. I will launch Becoming a Genius at Becoming You plan, forever forward blueprints, final stage of editing, forward to real. Oh my gosh, signed with NSA. Is it possible there's another NSA? Is it possible that's not the NSA? Like, has anyone else ever said signed with NSA and it means something else? Commonly refers to professional basketball players joining the National Sports Academy. Maybe it means no strings attached. Maybe she's a swinger too. We got pineapples. We got NSA. Nope. The only other one is National Security Agency, the U.S. Intelligence Agency. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Are you sure that's the same Tracy Morton? Is Erika's close friend celebrating her last birthday in her 50s? I'll have to look into that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. USMC rank. Oh gosh. All right. Got it. Thank you, female Marine. Thank you for your service. Ooh, rah, indeed. Candace showed a timeline. In one part, it said her source and Tyler went pew shopping after the Big Bang. Any ideas what that would be? Her source and Tyler Boyer? They might have went and gotten a gun because they were scared they're going to die. Lindsay, oh gosh, got it. It could be a souvenir. It could be. I don't know, guys. I just showing you what I saw. Does this mean you've given up on the exploding right? No, not at all. I've told you. I think it's multiple different things. But I'm not ever going to foreclose something that could turn out to be a possibility. I'm going to look into it. So I'm going to spend some time looking into whether a long range shot was possible at that location. I'm going to go out. I might even go on the ground at UVU and get in certain areas and look up and see, are there trees? Are there buildings? You know, take my little GPS and go 600 meters out, 800 meters out, 1,000 meters out and walk around, just walk the area into the neighborhood, down by the library, down even farther, behind the Losi Center, behind that building. And look, does any of these places make sense? I think I'm going to have to. I don't know that anyone else has done that. If there's anybody else on the ground in Utah that wants to take a first crack at it, let me know. I'd love to get in touch with you. But no, I've not given up on it. I'm not giving up on any possible thing that could have taken him out. Hubby's retired Marine said the insignia is oh, goodness gracious, people. Makes her the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, which she said there's only one of. Yes, that's correct. There would only be one. I'm never showing you guys a picture again. That's the last picture you'll ever see. Hi, Baron. That company in Scottsdale seems like a resource for ex-special ops to get back into the game, working for 3-letter agencies. Didn't BH say those types of people were made employment pool? Yes. That's precisely what he said. Precisely what he said. Was there two Butch Gibbs? Are you talking about Butch Hibbs? Hibbs and Greg Rogers? Rogers FBI top sniper, now UVU professor, post UVU event. There was car everywhere. Live update to report. I don't know what all you're saying there. There's a lot going on in that comment. And I wish I could comment on it. I just don't know what you're saying. Could they have had additional shooters in case the boom didn't? Yeah. Hi, had a dream a week ago where I confronted EK about never saying the name of Jesus Christ. She became uncomfortable as I continued to call on Jesus Christ and ran out of my house. Your feelings are right. Keep up the good work, and God bless. So I'm a believer in dreams. I think I've shared this with you. I think there's something to dreams. Not every dream means there's something, but I think a lot of dreams mean things. I love your intelligence. Thank you, your family, letting you spend time with us. E3 Tech. Could it be for E, Erika, 3, backwards E, the Erika Kirk group? No, Erika Kirk wasn't Erika Kirk when that group was founded. Erika Kirk was Erika Frantzve, 17-year-old. So, yeah. I was blocked from comments on YouTube after you shared the comment I found. Really? Are you serious, Dom? You can't comment on YouTube? No. They serve E8 was 3 up, 3 down. Oh, goodness gracious, guys. I got you. I understand what you're saying. I will look closely. I promise. I promise. You don't have to chastise me. Candace still said there was no blood in the behind version. Is it just a perfect angle? Or can she now recall asking pterodactyl? And did he explain it away? No, but I'm only calling Terrell Farnsworth pterodactyl from now on. That's settled. Gary Melton wins the trifecta: a sheep, a dip, and a sheep dip. Poor Gary. He had a thing going there for a while, and then he ruined it. What do we do about corruption? My son is in the Marines, enlisted Master Gunnery Sergeant, and E8. Retires in 4 years, went to Afghanistan, came back a different person, no medal. I think my advice from earlier is we just got to stay on the case, right? You've got to stay informed. You have to be willing to speak out. You have to hold these people accountable. I mean, one of the I hate to say this, but one of the problems is we just keep voting for these people. We just keep voting the same people in. Like, everybody hates Congress. Congress has like a 7% approval rating. 98% of them will be reelected. Why? Because you don't hate your congressman. Because he had a park installed at the end of Main Street. But he's also a crook. He also is the cause of all this problem we have. House hearings inquest digressed into anti-semiosis. They mentioned Catholics by theology would fit the definition. Could you please explain that? How do we move forward now? Bless you for all your efforts, Christ is King. My understanding, again, I've not looked deeply into what all happened at that hearing. I think you're carrying the Carrie Prejean hearing. I've not looked terribly deeply into it, but my understanding is what she was saying is the official Catholic Church's position is not in support of the our greatest ally there having their own state. There was an interesting follow-up to her because the guy said in response that he thought it was I'll call it anti-semantic. You guys know what I'm saying. The guy said it was that because that particular religion deserves its own state or whatever. The way I look at it is no state deserves to exist. They all should serve at the pleasure of the people living there. And they all should be good neighbors, lest they be taken out by people who are tired of putting up with their BS. And if you require the United States to provide your safety and security, probably you're not being a good neighbor. Like Moldova, is anyone just itching to invade Moldova? Well, no. Malawi, is anyone just chomping at the bit to invade Malawi? No. You're probably a pretty good neighbor. They're not out there causing trouble in the neighborhood. So, this is the social compact that we enter with one another. It's the same thing in a neighborhood in your neighborhood HOA, right? If you're a bad neighbor, people don't like you. And I don't think Let's take Jordan. I don't think Jordan has a right to exist as a Muslim country. I don't think Iran has a right to exist as a Muslim country. The people have chosen for that reality to take place, and they're okay with it. They haven't overthrown them. They haven't voted them out of office. They haven't had a violent revolution. The neighbors haven't invaded them and overthrown them. You know, you don't get a right to exist as a particular religious state. Like, for example, I mean, what they're asking for is a religious ethno state. This is my problem with it. My major problem with it. Anyone in the United States that wants a religious ethno state is immediately called a white Christian nationalist and roundly derided and escorted out of polite society. They're deplatformed. They're not allowed to speak. They're not invited to anything. They're ruined. They can't get a job. Like if you said, I want a Christian white ethno state in the United States, people would push you to the side. Why would any country be able to say that? Why would any people group be able to say, we want a white, I mean, these people are European descent. We want a white, particular religion ethno state. And the same people here in the United States that would, even on the right, the same people would be like, oh, you can't say that. You're an evil person. I mean, they talk about Nick Fuentes that way. They talk about a lot of people that way. You can't say that. You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to, you can't be monetized. Well, then why can anyone say that? I mean, that's kind of my question is, this is to me a live issue that's on the table. Why is it okay? Like if Egypt came and said, we have a God-given right to have an Arab Muslim ethno state, I would say, no, you don't. That's not right. If your people group happen to be Arab and are okay with a Muslim theocracy, then that's fine. Have one. And if your neighbors don't get sick of you and invade you and overthrow you because you're causing trouble, then you'll exist and you'll be an Arab ethno state. You'll be an Arab Muslim ethno state. But the moment everybody gets tired of your BS and they come in and they overthrow you and take over your country and tear down your government, and you no longer have a right to be that now, do you? And that's my thing. It's my major problem with it is the dual standard, the double standard. That's my problem. I like there to be philosophical consistency among all countries. That's the problem I have with that position that Kerry Rajan was facing. Charlie took Erika's mom to her treatment the day before he was killed because she had been on something that made her blab to Charlie. I don't think so. I think she had Lyme disease. I think that's what she was getting at. This is so fascinating and a little creepy. I love spy shows and feel like one is developing right before us. Keep up the good work. I love all the nerdy stuff. Yeah, unfortunately, this is reality that got someone killed. So we've got to look into it with non-entertainment as its focus. Though we can be entertaining. After all our investigations come together, Erika will go down in history as the worst actress ever. The reason the Shadow Gov is exposed, hopefully, and complicit in Charlie's murder. We should thank her for her stupidity. Thank you, ma'am, for being a terrible actress and very low IQ. Erika Kirk and Lori Frantzve are the Kardashians of faith and defense. Well, I think that's giving them way too much credit. Ooh. Lori lived in Marblehead, Massachusetts for 2 years in the 80s. Could Lori have been at a training base in Massachusetts? Is Marblehead a training base? Marblehead, Massachusetts military. The birthplace of the American Navy? Home to the renowned 14th Continental Regiment during the American Revolution. I don't know that it still has a base there, does it? That's an interesting thought. I don't know. Any idea why the Kirks sold their $5 million mansion and were living in a tiny apartment? What are the 3 most common reasons people sell a house unexpectedly on short notice? I mean, they lived there like a year or two. Death, divorce, and disease. Neither one of them were dying. Neither one of them we were aware of had a disease. That would lead to divorce as a possibility for selling your house. Look, it makes perfect sense to me. And that's the first thing I thought when I found that out. Could explain the tent on blocks and the sound guy squatting down the whole time. Not normal. So CK could be seen clearly. Yeah, could have been. Could have been. Seems like she's a spy. Yes, that was the point of today's show. Thank you. Baron, you recall the photo of Erika's mom with the Marine Corps insignia on her blouse? Yeah, I showed it. I showed 3 different versions of it. Thank you, Rick. Trust fund baby. Maybe the real father money, who's he? I don't know. Long brother Richard James Hart, born James Vincenzo Capone, an older brother of Al Capone, the not successful pros agent. Sometimes the one who are protecting us are really protecting themselves from outside competition. Oh, outside competition. Okay. I got you. Appreciate it. There's no words on just how happy I am to follow you. Every single vid. Has anyone you looked into flights on Enlist on night or morning JE checked out of New York prison? That's a great idea. No, but that's a great idea. There's a lot of airports right there. We could look at the private flights and where they went. That's great. I saw a report today that his FedEx account is still active and shipping stuff. That is very consistent with his gaming account still being active and playing. Bear and I, my dad's power of attorney. I just found out today my aunt went online and stole all his money. Should I press charges? My dad has dementia. Well, that's a family issue. That's up to you. I'm a big fan of if someone steals money, you should at least consider it. Make sure she wasn't like on the account, because then you'll just be filing a police report for no reason. You're completely wrong in your identification. I know, guys. I got it. I hear you. Still was weird to me. I know nothing about laws. I'm sorry. It's possible to publicly serve the courts all this evidence so they can stop ignoring it. This has been so frustrating to watch things unfold. Jesus, help us. No, it's not possible for us to serve the court the information. Let me go back to this comment for just a second. It still doesn't explain the fact that that website says that they won an award that you have to be in the active duty military for. So the picture I showed was just where I came across a picture, thought, well, looks like she's wearing insignia to me. But it doesn't change the fact of my conclusion that in order to win that award that she's saying she won, or someone there won, or the company, I mean, somebody had to be active duty military. And that's what I'm getting at. It looks like a sheep dipping operation. Baron, please make sure your family remains safe. You are so over the target. It's crazy. Keep your head on a swivel. You're a true OG. Oh, and get a haircut. Christ is king. Cheers, mods. Love you guys. Thanks, y'all. I need a haircut desperately. This bushing at the side is driving me crazy. It's supposed to look more like this. Not this. Not this. I'm going to get there. It takes me too long to put these shows together. I don't have any time during the day to go get a haircut. Baron, I forgot to ask your thoughts as to why Turk's phone displayed the weird dots. Was he playing kiddie games? Apologize if you already covered it. Melbourne, can you nail it twice? I don't know what that last sentence means. The Turk's phone with the dots, I have no explanation for. It looks to me like something acquiring a target, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. And I don't know that I'll be able to find the answer to it. Didn't get to ask yesterday what you think about the telepathy tapes. Those kids believe in God. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what the telepathy tapes are. The telepathy tapes. Oh. Is a documentary podcast series by Kai Dickens. Investigates through personal stories and expert interviews claims of telepathic abilities in non-speaking autistic individuals, as well as broader topics of consciousness. I have no opinion because I never heard of it. Sounds interesting. Wow, look at this. Gifting 10 memberships. You guys just, whoever landed on those memberships, whoever just got those, are in for a treat. Andrew was right. She knew everything. I've thought about that when she said she knew everything, she was bragging. It wasn't like I know who did it and that, no, I think it's, I'm the kingpin. I think it was a brag that she shouldn't have said. Women-owned business and women-owned small business are qualified business types for 8A program. Are they? Maybe that's true. Let's see here. Is a woman-owned business an 8A, or can they be? I guess I should have had. Is not automatically an 8A firm, but it can qualify if it meets specific separate SBA requirements for being socially and economically disadvantaged. While both certificates require 51% ownership, 8A focuses on disadvantaged status. So she would have had to prove she's economically disadvantaged. Was she? Because I've seen her house in Cincinnati. She didn't look economically disadvantaged. But maybe. Good information. This is why we crowdsource everything. We bring it to the table and let you guys weigh in. What are your thoughts on Jared Kushner? Seems like he's calling the shots, traveling alone to meet world leaders. I think he's the most powerful son-in-law in presidential history by a long shot. And I think he's doing a lot and becoming quite wealthy in the process. Welcome, honored sir, to our massive ranks of social engineers. I don't know what that means. Oh, for JG, I didn't watch that. Has this experience changed your opinion about Colin? Yes, it has. I don't know that I ever had a bad opinion about him. I just felt like he just thought it wasn't worth it anymore. That's kind of was always my take on that. But yeah, it has. I would love to talk to Colin. EK probably made her website, but forgot to add in her LinkedIn. I made a website once. I was blocked from comments as the member super chats after the EK comment about tattoo and military was shown. Dom, I feel so bad about that. If I would have known that was going to get you blocked, I would have found another way to cover that. I would not have ever done anything to jeopardize your ability to comment. If they were giving out Emmys on YouTube, you and CO would definitely deserve one. Be safe and blessed. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We're doing our best over here. Oh, speaking of Candace, is anyone planning on going to that event she's having in Washington, D.C.? Mrs. Coleman and I were talking about going. We talked today about it. It's March 19th. It's Thursday. It's the Catholic for Catholics. John Yep is hosting it. Matt Walsh is one of the speakers. Candace is one of the speakers. It's going to be a really cool event. It's at the Waldorf Astoria in Washington, D.C. And we were talking about, I so rarely put on a suit. I don't think they would allow me in the building with a hoodie. But having a night out on the town and heading up there for the night and going to that. I don't know if anyone else is thinking of going. I'd like to meet some of you guys if so. To the mods, no, it won't. And I've seen actual war and death more times than I can count. So please do not ever try to censor me for speaking out truths none of you can ever imagine. What? Huh? I saw a video about Derek Maxfield this week. Did we drop his name too fast? Also, what do we know about Erika's sister, Tanya Segrist, who's also in real estate? I felt like no one's mentioned her. Yeah, she's gotten kind of a pass because she was listed in some of the documents as being emancipated from the family. We have somebody coming up to the house now. I don't know if we dropped her too fast. That's a good question. Or if we dropped Maxfield too fast. He definitely has a weird, I'll say that, weird history. I would never think of you as a monkey. Okay. I didn't know you did. I didn't know anyone did. I also sent the eyes request, right? Oh, because I said you wanted the eyes. Sent the eyes request right before you went live. So we all got a natural one. Oh, great. Love your content and positivity. Well, thank you. I'm doing my best here. Bill Montgomery's wife, Edith, connected to a woman on Ancestry related to them. Her family tree shows connections to Boyer, Lyman, and Frantzve. Really? Will you email me that, please? Or Daisy, if you're watching, or I'll take a picture of it and send it to you if you're not. Can we look into this? Or I guess Casey, if you're watching, you're now on the job too. Spontaneous evil eyes, worth waiting for. Oh, thank you. I do my best. Welcome, Casey. No doubt you'll be a great addition after all. You're Coleman. Oh, she's gonna be great. If this was a Netflix series, Beyonce would have to play EK. Well, she wouldn't be white. We know that. Family that prays together stays together. That's excellent advice. I'm assuming that's back to the newlywed advice. Anyone else caught the Disney connection to all this? No. What is it? I'm happy to hear it. I don't know what it is. Thank you for all the truthful education. I've been so worried about our future. You give me hope. Such a faithful man. God bless you as always. Well, God bless you too, Sarah Bryan. Thank you for the kind words and the generous donation. Thank you. 17 trillion viewers. Shout out to Coach. Yeah, Coach is not only getting jacked, he's getting 17 trillion viewers. Baron, I responded in depth to you via email about the woman I know who survived MK Ultra. Please check it out when you can. Because I asked for more information. So thank you. I did email you, and I will check out the follow-up. Thank you. EK gives a whole new meaning to all about the Benjamin. God bless you for seeking truth, Baron. Jesus loves you. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. 2 Kings 23:4-7 randomly flipped it the other day. Thought it was compelling for a few reasons. Good work, Baron. I don't know that I have time right now to open 2 Kings because I'd have to find it. You guys don't understand. Our Bible is bigger than yours. We have more books in here. Oh, I found it. 2 Kings. Oh, right to 2 Kings 4. 23. Sorry. Oh, man. Now I'm in Chronicles. I've gone all out of the whack here. 2 Kings, you say? Or as President Trump would say, 2 kings. 2 kings. Not 1 king, 2 kings. 2 Kings 24. Jeepers, creepers. A big book. 23, 23, 4-7. Man, that's long. Let me just give it a gander. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. I see where it said cult prostitutes is probably weird. I didn't know that word was in there. CEO was talking about you again today. Love it. Oh, I heard that. She's the GOAT. I mean, she's just the GOAT. Elegant, classy, smart. I mean, what more do you want out of a podcaster? Advice for marriage, pray together. Yes. Good. I should have obviously missed that one. Why don't you wear a wedding ring? Because I work out every day. That's why my hands look like this. Oh, you can't really see it. Let me get you an idea. See how my hands look like that? Can you imagine what they'd look like if I wore a wedding ring? They're all torn up as it is. It would be a danger. You're welcome. Thank you. I freaking love this episode. Oh, I freaking love your comment. Not defending the enemy, but then it's, I got you. Duly noted. Over the years, EK has no problem talking on camera. One exception, her appearance on her husband's show. So very fake. I would say the CBS episode, she also had trouble with Barry Weiss. I would say, honestly, her first appearance standing behind the chair was really awkward as well. I'd say every time she's talked on camera since her husband died. Does the Catholic Church seem to be like it is in film and TV, where you can just walk in on a random Monday and walk into confession and sit in the pews? It's what I need right now, seriously. Roll that beautiful bean footage. It depends on the parish. But each parish, most parishes, have particular times when the confessional is open. So if you walk in there, most of them are open. A lot of Catholic parishes are just, the doors are open. You can walk in and pray, have some silence and some meditation, just be at one with the Lord. So that's kind of a blessing. We try to keep them open. In high crime areas, maybe they're not open during the day, but most places they are. But the confessional might be open from 3 to 5 on a Wednesday, or it might be open from 2 to 4 on a Tuesday. But you just have to know the schedule in that area. A lot of times the websites will tell you. So if you look on the website of a parish near you, it'll tell you a lot of times what the confessional schedule is. Or you can call the priest and say, I'd like to go to confession. And he'll give you a time, and you show up, and he'll say, be there at 3 o'clock Wednesday. And if that time works for you, you say, great, I'll be there. Then he'll get there 10 minutes early and sit up in the confessional, and you just walk in at 3 o'clock. That works. Now, so I had my old law partner had some things he wanted to get off his chest. He wasn't Catholic. He was Episcopalian. And he called a priest, and he was like, look, I know I'm not Catholic. Can I go to confession? The guy was like, come on in. He's like, I can't give you absolution, but we can talk about it. He goes, and Jesus will hear your confession. And so he went in there and just laid it all out. It was like 45 minutes he was in there. I have no idea what he was confessing. He could get a lot of stuff off his chest, apparently. But he came out buoyant, man. He was bubbly. He was like, oh my gosh, it feels so good to say it out loud. I'm like, I know. I've been telling you this. I'm behind viewing, but you had the wrong rank. Yes. Wrong rank. I'm going to put it, when I upload the video, I'm going to cover up the rank so you guys can't see it. This may be a low IQ observation, but you have to be very smart to be a good liar. EQ is definitely not that smart. Do you think she could become a liability like Charlie Kirk? Love your show. You're very smart and funny. Crisis King. God bless. Crisis King, indeed. Yes, she could absolutely become a liability. One of the ways we will know if there's a conspiracy is people will have unexpected partings. That's my take. PR came up in the EP files. Search in Ian's web AI vid. He sent me the web yesterday or today. When did he send it to me? Sometime. So I'm going to download it and start playing with it. Maybe think about Erika Kirk living in PR. Connection. Please go deeper on ancient beliefs. Talked about in member vid. Can't stop thinking about it. Got Worlds in Collision last night. So yeah, Worlds in Collision is an amazing book. It's a great primer into the fact that none of the ancient cultures thought our sky looked like it did right now. Like I said, Velikovsky and I differ slightly on a few of the small details, the subtle details, but on the grand scheme of things, I'm a Velikovsky guy. That I think he's pretty right on the money on a lot of that stuff. Velikovsky predicted that Venus would be piping hot when they landed because he said that Venus was new. It was not an ancient planet like the rest of the planets. And he said that when they land on Venus, because they were talking about going to Venus, I think in the 70s or whatever. And he said, when they land on it, it's just going to be molten lava. And they were like, are you kidding me? Venus is so old. It's going to be like minus 200 degrees. They landed and it was like 800 and the thing just melted right there. Like they landed a probe and it just started melting. It was only active for like a minute and then it just melted into the scenery. But the readings that got back, they were like, oh, Velikovsky might have been onto something. Now they've come up with all these other reasons why it's hot. No, you guys were wrong and he was right. The new planet. What were you asking? Puerto Rico? I don't think that's why she was there, but I think she was there shacking up with a boyfriend. No one has mentioned Erika using the elitist phrase, our citizens, in the Glidenbeck interview. I didn't catch it. Yesterday's member episode showed me, like Candace, you're willing to risk everything for truth. James 118. Yeah, I am, honestly. I'm not going to hold back. But that doesn't mean I'm going to rail either if it's not necessary. I rail when it's necessary. The notion that people have that because you believe something, you have to like shout it for the mountaintops every time you take the microphone. I'm not one of those people. James 1:18. What does it say, sir? He willed to give us birth by the word of the truth, that we may be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Yes. I like that. That's nice. Tidy. Her and Tyler Boyer. She and Tyler Boyer. We're both in one of his businesses as well. Boy, this whole thing stinks. Yeah. Song of Solomon by Tommy Nelson, marriage advice, best book ever. I've been married almost 49 years to the same man. You know what book was really good for my wife and me? Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus. It sounds hokey. It was good. And then the best book we ever read, honestly, and this book gets a lot of heat, so I hesitate to mention it because you guys will start, those of you who hate the book will start hating me. But our marriage, like all marriages, we've been married 24 and a half years. So we've had ups, we've had downs. And when we were in a particular down, a pretty particular down for a period of a couple of years, we read a book called His Needs, Her Needs. Changed our marriage. Totally changed our marriage. His needs, her needs. It's a life-changing book for couples. I should have given that as advice to a newlywed. His needs, her needs. Who wrote that? It was such a good book. His Needs, Her Needs was written by Willard Harley. Willard F. Harley Jr. And all it does is talk about that men and women are fundamentally different creatures. And a man looks at the world through man's eyes. And a man looks out and says, I know what I need. So I assume everybody needs these things. Well, if he's talking to other men, he's probably right. your guy friends probably need the same things you need, but your wife needs something fundamentally different. Likewise, your wife is a woman. She looks out at the world through woman's eyes. And she says, I know what people need because I know what I need. And then she, when dealing with her girlfriends, is probably accurate. Like they go to coffee together. They compliment each, they do the women stuff. But when she's dealing with her husband, it's a totally fundamentally different dynamic. And when we read the book, both of us were like, oh, that's what's gone wrong. Now, the guy took a lot of heat because, like, he said things like, one of the things men need is a fit wife. And everyone was like, you can't say that. And he's like, well, so there's some things in there that some women might take offense to. And there's some things in there, frankly, that some men might take offense to. But he's not wrong. Because you're offended doesn't mean someone's wrong. Baron, thank you for great reasoning investigation. Did you know that Tyler B was a family friend of Erika Kirk from her podcast on 2504? I'm assuming you're overseas and you mean April 25th? No, I did not know that they were a family friend. Have you received web from me and Carol? Yeah, I received it, I think, today. Sounds like Daisy and you would love access to something like that. You could upload your own research data set. Yes, correct. And I'm going to. He sent it to me today, I think, by text. What time? I think it was today. Let me look. Yeah, he sent it at 5 o'clock today, this afternoon. He's such a good guy. When I die and they lay me to rest, going to be the place that's the best. Number one podcast. You gave us a lot to think about. Go Max. Go Max indeed. Yeah. 1800s Syria, Lebanon does not mean 2026 Syria. In the 19th century, the name Syria was revived to denote the whole of Bilad al-Sham, including modern Syria, Lebanon, Georgia, and Israel, pre-World War I map. Oh. Are you talking? So you must be talking about Miss Abbas. You must be talking about Miss Abbas. If court case is official narrative and Tyler's found guilty as the only person involved, what do you think the public reaction will be? I think it'll depend on what the evidence shows. We'll have to look at the evidence. We'll be watching along with them. I'll be doing a lot of coverage when that court case comes along. As a non-denominational Christian, it devastates me to see how many of my Conrads are befuddled by BB's daffodil. Doing my best to wake them up. Yeah, it's rampant over there. I think it's by design. I think there was an infiltration over the last 40 years in the seminaries and churches. Yay, welcome Sister Coleman. Ooh, Sister Coleman. She's a religious sister now. Hope she wants us to meet her and get to know her. No pressure. Can we have a different nickname? Women don't call other women Marshmallow anything. That's up to her. She's Marshmallow Girl to me. No, I get it. Do we know if EK actually earned any degrees? You can list any school you've attended in CV. Doesn't mean you earned a degree. I think she earned the Master of Laws degree because I think we saw her graduation video, if I'm not mistaken. Erica's working on her fashion design while getting her real estate license. But how do you don't make money working on your fashion design for a company that isn't even open? Look into Everyday Heroes. I have personal experience that makes my skin crawl. I'm sickened by the Disney connection here because of it. Keep digging. Is there a Disney connection to Everyday Heroes? I'll have to look that up because it doesn't come up immediately. Thanks for putting me on that. Yeah. I've got you by 20. I wish you 40 more. Be aware, Einstein pagers, asthma inhaler, keep aware. I'd like to watch you for my fourth quarter. Oh, man. See, your comment reminds me of the Jason Isbell song, We Were Vampires. I challenge you to listen to that song if you're in love with someone and not cry. It's called If We Were Vampires by Jason Isbell, Isbell. It is just a song, man. One of those songs that I seriously have heard it 100 times and I can still cry listening to it. It's one of those. Just devastating. Had to catch member show last night instead of live yesterday, and I was glad because you kept having to pause to look stuff up. I've never felt more like a Joe in my life, but learned so much. Thank you, High IQ Outfit. Yes, it is a high IQ outfit on the member side, ladies and gentlemen. We went wild yesterday. If you're not a member, join it. It's fun. It was a wild show. Not sure if you already covered that. AmFest way oversold tickets and left people high and dry. They were told they couldn't attend after money and flights and hotel and no refund and a lot more inside info. Trying to get a hold of you. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. I'm getting the email inbox under control. When Nurse Casey shows up tomorrow, the email inbox will immediately begin getting more under control because I'm going to have help going through it. Maybe she didn't stay in New York City. She may have taken a 30-minute train ride to West Point. Faith is strong. Go Army, beat Navy. Well, that's an interesting take. Please make a hoodie that said she papered over her rabbit hole. Yeah, I think people will get the wrong idea if I do that. I don't know what rabbit hole I'm talking about. I'm only 20 minutes into the live. Could you do an overview? 1 or 2 or 3 episodes? Make a case for those still doubting. People need a way of catching up. It's undeniable what we've been lied to by now. So, yeah. Actually talked when Candace and I first talked about doing a show together. That was kind of what we were talking about, is maybe doing kind of an overview. Went a different direction when we got together. Ian and I kind of did an overview, but even we didn't go kind of from the beginning. I'd like to do like an overview of here's the highlights of the Google Trends. Here's the highlights of the microphone. Here's the highlights of the alleged explosion under the shirt. Here's the highlights potentially of gun angles. Here's the highlights of Erika's life. Here's the highlights of the people at TPUSA and all the crazy stuff they've been. It'd be a long show. It'd probably be 3 hours of just talking. But I've thought about putting that together. Yeah, good call. YouTube has eliminated CC on other websites I watch. You mean making it harder for our deaf friends? They do have it on my program. You just have to wait for it to load. It takes hours. None of us know what's really coming. We have an idea, but we really don't know. After Candace Owens, Alex Jones, and others coming out, been talked about for 50 years, but God forbid anyone makes sick jokes. Yeah, I got you. Looking at her mom's background, unless you dig, she isn't listed as known relatives. It's a different system, which she may be on that I haven't pulled yet. Gotcha. Hey, Baron, love the show. Would you and your wife ever consider doing an episode together on raising your 8 children? I'm so impressed with her, and the world needs to know how she does it. Maybe a member show. I could sit over here, and she could sit over here, and we could do a member show. And I could look at her and say, Mrs. Coleman, the people want to know about the children. They're worried about the children. And she could sit over here and say, Baron. So, but yeah, that's not a bad idea. Get Mrs. Coleman on for a member show. Raising 8 kids isn't easy. I've always said the elites don't seem to figure out where the bottom falls out because they become the bottom. Oh man, I'm way behind. I got to speed up. Bear, check email when you get a chance, please. Title Einstein, email in info could help with the Erika NYC mystery. I will check it out. Anything that would help the mystery. I got to figure out what she was doing. Getting an idea what she was doing, but we got to figure out those. We got to nail it down for sure so we can talk about it. The only way I'm watching the halftime alternative show is if there's a section for you to get a researcher of the year. You and Charlie Kirk, or you talking about you and Candace Owens? Hey, I will say this: TPUSA is not giving me an award anytime soon. 900 mentions of pizza in the Epstein files. Cabot's pizza tattoo. Any relation there? I think so. That's my gut. I don't know, but that's my gut. Who else tattoos the word pizza in their lip? That's weird. Love your show. Look forward to every time you're on. Keep up the good work. My guess is he tattooed that before the Pizzagate outed what it meant. I'm having to skip some of these. Baron, inspiring, learn about your life, sobriety, and watch you blow up here. Keep carving a journalistic path, brother. Jesus Coleman, 2028. I'm not worthy to untie his sandals, much less be on a ticket with the man. But I appreciate your confidence and your kind words there. Thank you. When the truth goes out the window, immorality replaces it. Okay. Is it possible the birth announcement was fake for EK? Because there are no pics of her with her mom prior to 5 or 6. Big resemblance to JD's mom in the 80s. This Erika Kirk JD might be siblings thing is one of the craziest conspiracy theories that I've kind of thought, maybe? Maybe? Did you see Enrique's 2007 high school yearbook page that has a photo of her as Miss AZ in the center of it? That happened in 2011, I believe. This may have already been discussed. She won Miss Junior Arizona or something, I think. That may have been the picture. Can you do a show on Peter Thiel and JD Vance since TPUSA is pushing JD? Thiel was in the files connection. I can look into it. TK's wincing could have been electric shock before explosion. That's highly possible, in my opinion. Mr. Coleman, Julia, it's possible for content creators like yourself. Is it possible for content creators like yourself to search past uploaded comment sections? Super Bowl Sunday, my comment explains my eyewitness email. I asked you to take picture of my past super chat so you wouldn't forget. I can go back and look at the live chats. I think some reason sometimes they don't upload the live chat, but most of the time they do. And I can go. But if it was a super chat, I can go back and look at all of them because I do after the show. I go back and look at the ones I had to pass through for time. Erika's betrayal in the Hamptons, reason for divorce? No, I think it was before that. Would love to see you in an interview with Ryan Matta. His doc, Never in America, exposes corruption from CPS, taking children from loving families and distributing them. Thanks to laws the Clintons passed, every parent needs to be aware. Well, that's terrifying. I like Ryan Matta a lot. Erika Frantzve's Miss AZ win was rigged IMO. 25 is old. I'm 40 and can say it. She's a 6.5. She's a 6.5. Compared to Carrie Prejean, don't get those Christian ladies in pageant, though. No, I will not. Lori Frantzve, 100% looks Mediterranean, Middle Eastern with dyed hair. The big old schnozzles did. Hey, as a big schnozzle of America, I take offense to American. I take offense to that. So it's Erika has said she's Lebanese. I didn't know that. I will check that out. Interesting. There are 3 okay, got it. E9. Nailed it. No, you can't send your research to the Supreme Court. There's not a mechanism for that. Vitamin D, C, D, and zinc and quercetin daily for nearly 6 years. My husband and I have only been briefly sick 2 times since 2020. Oh, and 2 Moroccan olive oil. Or liver oil or olive oil. You sound like you're healthy. That sounds like a good combo there. Good stack, as they say. Please don't give a date when you're going. I don't trust people. We need you back safe and sound. Yeah, but the event's known. Like the event's known. People know the event's coming up. But thank you. I appreciate that. It's good advice. Good advice. Have you ever taken the time to read the Discord chat that Destiny was streaming? If not, it's worth the time to screenshot chat as the call comes in, as a person circled in red too. I've not. I've never watched a second of Destiny. Figured out the Colorado Springs had to be Thomas Martin because of his high-level defense clearance, Tier 1 C4 ISR. He's the operational something of Dream City, something Data Harvest. Candace asked about him on Monday. Well, that would be interesting if that's true. No relation to Tracy Martin, right? Isn't that the name she was mentioning? Contract was National Guard Bureau J6, J3, not to be confused with JCS J6, J3. Depending on, okay, I see what you're saying. The chief of the National Guard Bureau is one of the 7 members of the Joint Chiefs Staff. Okay, that's duly noted and good information. That's why we bring it out to you. I knew Ian drove there and flew a drone, but I need to be more like in particular locations and seeing if there's a line of sight. Ooh, gross. I worked on the kill floor of a meat processing. I mean, I know somebody has to do it. Ugh. My experience, a neck wound should have left a huge blood trail. Didn't see what I expected to see. Wow. Baron, I've done some testing with 17 HMR. It's pretty crude, but I would love for you to check it out. I don't know what that means. Also, Tyler Robinson's cousin agrees with me. So did Gary Melton initially. What's 17 HMR? Oh, a Hornady Magnum rifle. High velocity, extremely accurate, flat shooting rimfire cartridge. Uses a .17 grain bullet. Used for pest and small game hunting. Interesting. Am I the only one who has noticed the Tyler B shrink poke? Has he shrunk? Maybe he's just nervous. So if I worked at Suite 101 and needed to hire a sniper, I might find one next door. Yes, that was my. Without saying it, that's the point. Just got here. We'll watch the replay. I'm dying to know if Ian sent you the web. Have you used it? Love your show. It's a daily must watch. He has, and I've not yet downloaded it. I will. Got it. Got the rockers. Erika said she heard Charlie sneak into the bathroom to get his necklace ring. Didn't get a chance to kiss him goodbye. But if she'd heard him doing this, why didn't she get up and kiss him goodbye? Because they were having marital problems. Baron, you mentioned how it's odd that Charlie flinched before the boom. Have you considered the audio and explosion weren't synced and he reacted to the noise? No. Sorry to Butch Hibbs. Was Greg Rogers dressed as Hibbs at UVU? Rogers top sniper, ex-FBI UVU professor, story flip-flops, give live updates. I've not looked into that, but I can. I will. Jesse on Fire is sketchy. His webpage venture capital, Navy SEAL, CW Network. He's a plant. Turns my stomach. I expected him to start compulsively blinking. I like Jesse on Fire. I hope none of that's true. Just became a Baron member today. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you. Join the club. We're going to have some fun. A little something towards your DC trip, March. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's very generous. Erika probably got into Corcoran through her roommate who worked there, and her friends from Summer House, Gillis twins, were in real estate. She did commercials, video for LV, Electric Daisy. She did not meet people from Summer House. She wasn't like in the cast. She was just a guest one time because the girl she was living with that summer, spilled my soda. The girl she was living with that summer was on the show. Our parish has a priest from Malawi, our second one. They're wonderful religious men. We've been blessed. Christ is King. Yeah, I just named Malawi randomly, but I don't doubt it. I have pictures and printed hard copies past comments that have no views or thumbs. That's similar to what I've been experiencing all my electronics the past 4 years, related to the groups you and Candace Owen mentioned. I hate that's happening to you. I hope you are safe keeping your info with someone like CO. Is PS. I was raised Lutheran, just to branch off. Yes, we're taking care to make sure the information stays safe and gets out if anything happens. Slavic people are classified as people of color. Where was Larry? Where was Laurie Frantzve born? This may meet requirements. Well, she was born in the United States, but to a Mr. Abbas. Babylon system is the vampire. Okay. I believe you. Rob McCoy on board of Conejo Center and Ohana Health in Thousand Oaks, California. Some say a cult run by Texas fracking billionaires. Dan Wilkes. One called Heavenly Father's Foundation and House of Yahweh. Sean Ryan with EK Movie. So the Wilkes brothers actually bought, I believe, the building that Rob McCoy's church is in. So it doesn't surprise me that he's connected to them. And I have heard people call it a cult. And I've seen very few things to dissuade me of that notion. Wizard Mom, thank you. Looks like the insignia. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Look, it was blurry. It was small. It doesn't change the fact that the website claims to have won an award. That is a website she owns. It's her company. That they won an award that requires you be active military service. That's the key. Let's not lose the details. Let's not get too buckled down on the things that don't matter. Cradle Catholic who stepped away for about 20 years. My dad passed 3 years ago and told me before he died that he believed I would return to my faith. Well, I hope you do. First super chat. Oh, since I tapped out. I was going to say, no, it's not your first super chat, ma'am. Couldn't take any more. I'm familiar with the 8A cert process, and Lori has to hold the record not only for the quickest cert time, but getting a contract. I love the MO yesterday. Look at those choppers. Members only was great yesterday. Look at those choppers was a moment. Yeah, I don't know how long the 8A process normally takes. Apparently you're saying it's longer. I finally created a YouTube channel for my business. Took me 2 days to dawn first video. Oh my gosh, it's not easy. I restarted my video about 20 times. Bless you and the amazing creators. Yeah, it gets easier with time. You'll figure it out. I promise. Are you aware Phil Lyman met with Tim Ballard on 9/10? Lyman was creeping around Charlie Kirk minutes before killed. Also in July, Ballard, Lyman, Posobiec, General Flynn met at the Gold Institute for Global Security meeting. Sus. I was not aware, but I'll be happy to check into it. What's this mean? I don't know what this means either. LDS going to mass supporting Kerry Bowler. All right, guys, I got to run. Hey, this has been fun. Let me see if there are any more grumblers. Yes, Baron Coleman, why do you think she says my family with the gate dedication in Philly? She was looking for mints. Possibly. Guys, like, subscribe, share the video with people, click the notifications button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are on. I keep hearing from people over and over that those are getting turned off on them. And I'll be back tomorrow night. We got another great show in the tank for you. Another fantastic show tomorrow night. Be here. I don't know exactly what time. It'll probably be between 6 and 7. That's when I usually do it. But we'll have a good time. We're going to have a good time tomorrow night. And probably will not be live Friday, but I don't know that yet. But probably will not be live Friday. But I'll let you know one way or the other. I'll let you know. And in the meantime, don't forget. Don't ever forget. Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful night. And share the love of Jesus with somebody tonight, would you?